Well,
To
we're
begin with,
live
oh, a
now.
few slices of melon. Oh, that's very nice. But after a while, after many weeks, months, years of melon,
Uh,
yeah, no thanks.
yeah, no bananas for me. Oh, and oranges too. I used to have a lot of them, pretty cheap too. So I've gone off oranges,
Melons,
oranges and
cucumbers,
bananas.
tomatoes. I mean, quite why they had. I mean, it was a huge. It got like a breeze block perimeter wall that was, I don't know, about 2 3 foot high, and then a proper timber frame and everything. And I remember the last few years there was a big metal pole in the middle holding up the ridge. It was one bit of timber and it was starting to go, and it needed a pole to hold it up, otherwise the whole lot would collapse. And in the end, Dad said it's got to come down. But it must have been 30 foot long. It's a bloody great thing.
You talking about watermelons, like the ones with the seeds in it?
No. The smaller
Rock melon.
I can't think what they bloody call them over here. But yeah, they're about
They
sort of
got they
six
got
to eight
seeds in
inches
the
across.
middle, like a big pile of seeds in the
Oh
middle
yeah,
of them.
yeah, oh yeah. You have to, when you cut them open, you scoop all the
Yeah, we
seeds
call
out and
them
just
rock
cut them.
melons over here.
Yeah, I can't think what they bloody call them over it. I've had them sort of.
Cantaloupes?
Mm.
Don't know. Hang on, let me have a.
What colour are they?
And they got a they got a
They're
textured skin, like real.
yes, they got a green with a textured skin on the
Mm-hmm.
outside.
Antelope.
Could be. Oh, I've got a bloody photo of them.
Oh,
Still's not telling me
oh,
what
they
they're
got
actually
weird
called.
names for
Yeah.
fruits over there.
Are they orange on the inside or green?
Green.
No orange at all. Or what are the would there be what do they call them? Honeydew melon. What's it got another name?
Yeah.
Looks like a rock melon. Can't think of the other name for them is.
Yeah, they're honeydew.
Honeydew, okay.
Because cantaloupe is orange and honeydew is a sort of light green. I think most ones we had were honeydew because they'd got a green interior. But yeah, we just got sick of the sight of the bloody things. Oh, can't we just have a choc ice, Mum? Please, anything other than melon.
And it looks like the scientist has gone off already, because today's scientist was a Genevan physicist who is most known for his theory of gravitation. He also invented an electric telegraph and anticipated the kinetic theory of gases. And Clive jumped in straight away with George's Louis Lesage.
That's correct, yeah.
Only a second go.
Oh, and his second go.
Which is pretty good.
He hastily retracted the first one.
Some of the flat earthers have accosted his theory of gravity and called it pushytrons.
Oh.
Yep.
I was having an interesting discussion. I didn't get me two bits worth in, but what's his name? The other Brian, not Brian Mabbott, the other one.
Brian's logic, Brian Leakey.
Leaky, yeah.
Leakey.
Leaky.
Come on, man.
Something about water not being compressible, but under pressure in the ocean it can be, because you have water pressure at depth.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, I know, but this was the whole conversation.
Oh dear.
I mean, actually, the liquids are technically compressible, but oh boy, that's a lot of pressure before you can actually compress them.
Oh, the conversation he was having, he had no idea. We're trying to explain to him that yes, the mass of it. What was it? Like if you had a litre of water, the mass of that litre would be like about a couple of 0.0 something percentage of its mass would be less than the litre because of the compression at that depth, at depths of, I don't know, what, 10,000 feet or something, whatever depth
Well, I
water
mean,
is.
at that sort of depth, no, it's still considered incompressible. I mean, that's why we use fluids and hydraulics, because to the sort of pressures we're talking, they're incompressible. But technically, if you really, really, really up the pressure, and I mean to a phenomenal amount, you can compress them. But that's not the sort of pressures that we work with.
Well, they're still compressible. It's just that it's such a small amount that
It's
it's not
negligible.
noticeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, 0.00 something of a percent or something.
Yeah, it's technically, I think it's called next to bugger all.
I forgot now. Water compresses what 3 or 4% at 30,000 psi.
Yeah,
It's something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was trying to bring
For
up.
practical applications, you may as well just say it's incompressible.
Compressible, exactly, because who works at 30,000 psi?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
He was trying to bring up a thing about a video that he's seen where somebody filled up a bottle of water at depth, and when they brought it up to the surface, the bottle was cracked. I'm trying to think what was something like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, submarines. If we're talking military submarines, you think, oh, they dive deep. No, not really, compared to the depth of the ocean. But even so, they do go to a fair depth, and the holes are designed to be elastic to a certain degree. And I've seen a video somewhere, and it's in one of the sort of the aft engineering spaces, and they've got a washing line up.
Mm-hmm.
And when they dive, it's quite taut.
Yeah.
Then they go to depth, and it's not. It's sagged.
Yeah.
Because the hull of the submarine has compressed and it's released the tension on the line, and their washing line is now it's drooped.
Yep.
And that's because the hull's getting compressed and yeah.
But like you hear in the movies where you can hear all the creaks and groans of the hull when it goes down deep.
Yeah. And then if you watch something like Das Boot, when they go really deep, and then all the nuts and bolts that are holding the various frames together all start breaking them, and there's bits of metal flying everywhere because everything's getting stretched and yeah. What's known as crash
it's not very many movies they do depict things like that in reality that would happen.
I'd still say that Das Boat is probably about the most realistic film you're going to see regarding submarines, particularly World War II. I mean, it is. They couldn't have done a much better job, to be honest, to show you what it's actually like and what happens on board a submarine, and particularly when you're getting towards crush depth and things are really starting to strain, and fittings start giving up and water starts coming in and.
Well, I mean, that's why the most dangerous dive the submarines can do is a straight down dive. Because what happens is, as they go deeper, of course, they adjust their buoyancy by, releasing or compressing air, ballast tanks, right? But as it dives down, straight down, of course, the hull of the submarine compresses, which means its density increases, right? Which means that the buoyancy decreases, which means it sinks further down, which increases the pressure, which crushes the hull more, and it gets more dense, so it sinks further, etc. It's like a positive feedback thing.
Yeah.
So they've got to be really careful. I mean, most dives they do will be while they're actually travelling forwards.
That's it. So they don't go down. They go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a gradual thing,
because that way they can control the rate of descent much more readily. Yeah.
I did there. Is there Channel Science Girl, something like that? I saw one last week that popped up, and it's one of these ice X's that they're doing at the North Pole, and they actually let her on board this American nuclear submarine as they're doing a straight down test dive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they were quite surprised. There was things happened that they weren't expecting, and they said it was something to do with ice formation, but it was also, you could see how how nervous they all were because they were doing a vertical descent, and he said this is not normally what we do. I think it was Science Girl. I'll have to have a look now because I think she's. It wasn't.
Girl?
Let me
Physics
have a look.
Girl. I think
Physics
it's
Girl.
the name.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could well have been Physics Girl. So I think she's going to do a follow-up video where they actually, they show her what they can on board, because it's obviously it's one of the attack subs, and you can see even in the control room, some of the screens have got covers thrown over them because it's like, no, you ain't filming that. We ain't showing you what's on that.
I remember when we used to get visitors come to look around the radar station, and it's the same. There's some stuff that'd come in the control room, and there'd be curtains pulled over the control panels for it, so they couldn't even see the control panels.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it was Physics Girl 8 days ago. I dove in the nuclear submarine.
The original title was "I Went Down in a Nuclear Submarine," but they had to change that. The censors didn't like it.
You went down, did you? Yeah. Yeah. On who? Oh dear. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the follow-up and seeing exactly, because I can tell you straight away what areas they won't be allowed to film in. Oh, this is the reactor. Yeah, right. That's not going to happen. Red October was obviously a documentary. Race to target visually. One thing only.
Was he a Russian? He was a Scottish Russian.
He was a Scottish. The problem is that Sean Connery only plays one character in all of his films, and that character is Sean Connery.
Yeah, that's it.
He's very good at it, though. I've got to give it to him. He was very good at it. Some things in here don't react well to bullets.
You do a few impressions, Farmer, by the sound of it.
Well,
That's two we know of.
What, Sean Connery?
and the other person.
No. Bloody voice. Oh dear. Oh God, what? There was something on telly the other night. I can't think what it was bloody called now, but they're supposedly in this mining rig or something that's at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, and they're running around inside in these armored diving suits, and it's like,
what?
No. And there's an earthquake, and that and it's one of these creature features. There's some monster going around killing them off, but it's like, what? You can't be at the bottom of the Marianas Trench in the diving suit. I mean, you just. I don't care how strong you think it is. You become about the thickness of a dinner plate.
What, did they have that helmet on as well? That diving bell.
It was. See if my IMDb history shows my searches, because I did look it up and think, hang on a minute, because it's a fairly.
That's usually the 50s movies that usually depict things like that.
Oh no, this is a 2020 film, and it's called Underwater, and it stars Kristen Stewart with no hair, as I remember. It'll all be shaved off. Oh, it was just like, what
a 2020 film, and they're not even depicting it close to what it should be. That's ridiculous. Well, what about the Abyss then? Grumpy of Gun said the Abyss, they went down pretty deep.
Life's Abyss and then you dive. Yeah, they didn't enjoy making that film, did they?
What about Journey to the Centre of the Earth?
Oh, yeah.
Casually stroll down there at 364 gigapascals.
I mean, the Abyss they got they got some of it right. I mean, when the Marines come down and all, you've got to pressurize first.
Hmm.
And they're in the depression pressurization chamber for X number of hours and all the rest of it. They show all that, but and then of course Matey Boy goes down in the special suit breathing the super oxygenated fluid, which that is a thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, aliens and Russian water tentacles. But that was a test. They were testing that CGI out in readiness for Terminator 2. Of course, it was the same director, Jim Cameron. And I believe that was shot in an old nuclear reactor housing.
Well, as soon as we
Yay,
watched a bit
all
of,
is fixed.
as soon as we watched a bit of a certain person last week or the other day having a debate, we thought we'd do a conspiracy cats version on Fight the Flat Earth. It looks like it was on Fight the Flat Earth's actual channel. And do you want me to skip it through to?
Katz's intro starts at 11 minutes 35, and I think that intro is worth watching. And then it immediately goes into sort of Flatoid's intro, and that just gives you an overall feel for it, shall we say?
I might have
But
watched.
Katz's intro, I think,
might have
is
watched
superb.
this separate to us streaming. That's probably what it rang a bell then on my end. Because I thought we streamed. Yeah, I thought I streamed this. That's what had me confused.
You might have watched it, but
And
And you're
but
saying
on Saturday we went through the MC2 one, which was the day after this one. They did them sort of back to back.
Okay, well, that's what confused me.
Yeah.
So I've already
MC2
seen.
had
I
a-
think I've already seen most of this thing. All right, so I've got to go to 11.
You go. I think it's about 11:35 that Katz does his intro, and it's a very good intro considering who he's debating.
Okay.
And I'm sure he does. They had an email exchange, agreed what they were going to talk about and all the rest of it. And as ever, that's not what happens.
Stuff I said Quasimodo, Terry, does that ring a bell?
We did dad jokes already. The bells. The bells.
She gave me water.
Oh dear.
Get rid of that. Leave that out of the road. Oh, I have to show that first. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Hold on. Don't panic.
Panic.
Is that an LED on the side of your headphones?
Yeah, well, I had to switch. Yeah, because if I have my wireless headset on, I can only hear what's in Zoom. And Terry said, "Oh, can you just find a timestamp on?" Oh shit, I'll have to switch headphones. I think these are a gaming headset. I like to have backups, in case something doesn't work. And these do have very good surround sound, but they don't have noise suppression.
I've got to make it fit first, by the look of it.
But yeah, I think these have got. Yeah, got.
I'll
No,
give you.
as you were moving your head around, I kept seeing this orange.
Yeah,
bit.
I don't know why gaming headsets have to have pretty lights on them because they don't actually do anything.
Mine's got one
lights.
sticking out where my microphone is.
So you
At
can
the end
tell
of it.
you're a gamer and not just some old guy listening.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
might be it.
Because you know, RGB.
But I'm not a gamer. I weaned myself off games many years ago.
There you go. Hashtag thanks, Bev.
Oh yes.
So the other
But
level
it's
cross
not thanks, Bev.
says it's
He
what?
didn't take the photo.
He took the photo.
Not him, because he's in it. He never takes photos. He never actually does anything.
So did he use this as anything at all in his arguments to anyone? This actual image of the photograph?
I think he might have presented it, but you see, he doesn't lay claim to things because I think he deliberately engineers everything so that he can't lay claim to anything. So when people says, "Oh, you took this photo," no, I didn't.
No.
Your Discord server, it's not my server.
That's right.
You did this, no, I didn't. You did that, no, I didn't.
No.
He'll throw anybody under the bus. I mean, he threw his own son under the bus.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was the whole Blackpool thing, and Bev presented a series of photos and said, "Yeah, this is what we see all the time." And somebody said, "Oh, you took all those photos?" No, his son took the photos. He wasn't laying claim to anything. Oh no, I didn't take them. My son did. You know.
But it just said he said we see it all the time.
Correct. Yes, he did say we see that all the time. But when he presented photos as evidence that we see it all the time, they weren't his photos.
Mm.
I think it's a deliberate thing that so that he can say, "Oh, it's not me, it's not mine. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. You can't blame me." Blah blah blah.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, you can't deny the fact that he can't have taken that photograph personally.
No, because he's in it.
He's in the damn thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they always try to get us on it. Oh, did you take the photo yourself? Or did you do that yourself? Were you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I always, if I can, try and use my own photographs to illustrate stuff.
But everybody calls the on the level Discord server his server. I mean, he acts like it's his, but it's not. No, it's not his. It's Emma's. He didn't set it up. It's not his. You can't blame him for that. It's not his server. To all intents and purposes, it is.
I wonder if he even claims his YouTube channel. I wonder who that belongs to.
Oh, I've not asked him about it. Yeah,
Yeah, I have to ask him that time. Have you got a YouTube
Yeah,
channel?
YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Or did somebody else set it up for you?
Yeah.
It's in his name.
Where are we? Oh. Back to there again. Back to that. Back to there. Back to there. And I've got it at 1 minute 13 or something.
That's close enough. Yeah. That's close enough.
The bush.
I know I've got this Mandela effect with this video because it's. I know I've watched it, but I thought we watched it on our show, but that's completely weird. That for me.
Yeah, we watched the other one.
Yeah. Okay. Have we got sound?
Yeah, I think to begin with, Cats is muted, and then he realises.
Whenever you're ready. Oh, hang on a second. We don't have any audio.
Look at that. That was flawless, wasn't it? I put myself on mute out of politeness and then didn't take myself off. Okay, sorry. Are we good to go? Right, I said before that this for me is all about honesty, and that's exactly what I'm going to mean. I'm going to be repeating that throughout the entire debate, the theme of honesty. This debate started with FTFE asking me if I would accept a debate with Flaxoid if he was up for it on his channel. There was an email exchange you can see on the screen. The topic of the debate, you can see, was agreed. We would each bring 3 pieces of evidence. for our, for flat Earth or for globe Earth. And Flatzoid said to me, we've got to define what we mean by evidence. So rather than get into a big argument about it, we just decided to settle on what you can see at the bottom there. Repeatable and reproducible observations or measurements that support or validate the idea that the Earth is flat, or in my case, the Earth is globe, without contradicting other world observations. Right?
But that's a typical tactic, isn't it? They get a word and they go, oh, what do you mean by that word? I think this word means this.
Yeah.
But it's, words have meanings, but they have usages and context.
That's it. And obviously Katz is wise to this, so he's trying to knock that on the head before they even start.
Yeah.
Right, that's what we decided to go with. Now, let me show you, first of all, how honest I can be. I can look at a picture like this, and I can honestly say, would I be able to expect to see something like that on a flat Earth? Is that what I would expect to see on a flat Earth? I suppose it probably is, yeah. I suppose with a bit of topography, I suppose I'd expect to see that on a flat Earth. I would also expect to see it on a globe Earth as well. Absolutely. A globe Earth of the size we've got, that could fit either model. I'm quite honest to say that. This is the same. Would I honestly be able to expect to see that on a globe Earth? 100%. But I'd also not be able to say I wouldn't expect that on a flat Earth. That's honesty. The clouds. Can I honestly say that it would only fit a globe Earth? No, I can't say that. Maybe I'd expect to see that on a flat Earth. All right, we get the picture. Honesty. Then we might look at some wind turbines. Whoops, what's going on here? Not these wind turbines, because these wind turbines were taken from a website I found about a future wind farm. These are CGI wind turbines put on for a picture for a future wind farm, because that's not actually what real wind farms look like. Real wind farms look like this.
There's that image that I
would
use
I
a
expect
lot
to
of.
see this on a globe? Hell yes, of course I would expect to see this globe, and I will be asking Flatzoid in the debate, would you expect to see that on a globe? And I am expecting an honest answer of yes. And if I don't get an honest answer of yes, if I hear somebody say no, I wouldn't expect to see that on a globe, then we're going to really start to examine the honesty of the flat earther, because that is exactly what you'd expect to see on a globe. Would I expect to see that on a flat earth? Underwater wind turbines stirring up the fish? No, I would not. So I will absolutely 100% be asking Flatzoid and holding his feet to fire.
But they haven't invented underwater
yes or no?
yet.
Be honest. Would I expect to see this on a globe? Hell yes, of course I would.
It's got all the images that I always collect.
And all I'm going to be asking Flatzoid is the same thing. Are you honest enough to say, yes, if the Earth was a globe, that's exactly what we would expect to see? Or are you going to somehow try and avoid answering the question? Would I expect to see that, an underwater city and half the sun underwater on a globe? Hell yes, that is exactly what I expect to see on a globe. Would I expect to see it on a flat Earth? No. But I will be asking Flatzoid directly, would you expect to see that on a globe? And we will see whether Flatzoid can be honest and say, yes, that is it. You know, if the Earth was a globe, you'd expect to see that. Or whether he won't be able to bring himself
But
to
would
say,
any
yes,
flat
that's
earther
exactly what
be
you'd
honest
see on a
to
globe.
say?
Some.
No.
Right, and I apologise to
Flat
our
Earth and
on
honesty
Twitter.
doesn't
I don't know
really
who you
go
are.
together.
Doesn't go in the same
Please
sentence.
let me know and I'll give you a shout out for this. But what a fantastic meme. If we look, you know, at the sunset on a globe, this is exactly what I would expect to see on a globe. This is what we see. We see the sun go down behind the horizon. That's exactly what we would expect to see if the Earth was a globe. Would I expect to see this on a flat Earth? No. We would obviously expect to see this kind of weird moving away in the distance. Right. Come back to that later on. Would I expect to see this if the Earth was a globe? Hell yes, of course I would. And I'll be asking Flatzoid this question. If the Earth was a globe, would you expect to see that? And obviously anybody who is looking at half an oil rig missing behind an horizon would say, yeah, that's exactly what you'd expect to see if the Earth was a globe. Not this, right, where they look like they've been melted. Any flat earther who's bringing this temporary image as their primary source, rather than what it normally looks like, is being dishonest.
Yeah.
Right. This is what I would expect to see on a globe with refraction. If you can show me that picture without any refraction whatsoever, then maybe we can start talking about flat Earth. Would you expect to see on a flat Earth 200 meters of missing mountain? No, you wouldn't. You would expect to see that exactly on a globe. And again, I'll be asking Flatzoid, is this what you'd expect to see on a globe? Hundreds of meters of mountain below sea level. Because if you've never been to Blackpool, this is the big one here. My family have just come back from Blackpool. You're on the sea. You know, we're literally just above sea level here. 200 meters of mountain below that sea level. That's all been gone into before. Would we expect to see star trails on a stationary flat Earth? No. Would we expect to see star trails like this at the equator? No. All right. Why on a flat Earth? No, we wouldn't. Will we expect to see the spherical shadow of the Earth during a lunar eclipse if the Earth was a globe? Hell yeah, absolutely. Will Flatzoid be honest enough to say, yes, that's exactly what we'd expect to see if the Earth was a globe? Or will he try and not answer that question? Would we expect to see the moon upside down in different hemispheres if the Earth was a globe? Hell yes, of course we would. Only a dishonest person would say, no, we wouldn't expect to see that. Would we expect to see the solar analemma if the Earth was stationary? Of course we wouldn't. Okay, I'll come back to some of these images later on. They're just some observations, right? The definition we came to was observations and measurements. Right, here's some measurements. I knocked this graph up earlier on with a felt tip pen and a child's ruler. And it shows, if we look at the bottom, increments of 10 degrees of latitude. And then we plot the apparent angle of Polaris in the sky. We see that it forms a linear relationship, something that's obviously only possible on a globe. We can get into the maths of that later on. It fits the y equals mx plus c. Here the gradient is 1, the y-intercept is 0, so we can say y equals x. Anybody who's done high school maths knows that that's all very, very, very basic stuff. Okay? And here's where the honesty comes in. Because when I see flat earthers talk about the linear relationship of Polaris, they come up with absolute drivel like this. They come up with their graphs. This is a graph that a flat earther put on YouTube to try and claim that Polaris showed some kind of, would have a linear relationship with distance from the North Pole on Earth. There is no scale, there is no understanding, it's just random lines. I don't even know what that is. And it's good that we're getting close to Halloween because this is absolutely horrific. Look at this with actual numbers and actual intervals. And look at this with a series of randomly drawn lines that my daughter could do if she spilt her paint on the carpet. This was awful. And I think that was Flatzoid's. Right. Now I can do that game as well. I can draw a graph with absolutely no scale, right? And absolutely no, and even this is better at trying to explain these observations than this that we're looking at the screen now. How long have I got left, Johnny? Oh, did you hear that? How long have I got? No. Okay. So I'm looking for a bit of honesty for somebody to say, okay, yeah, actually, I didn't really understand. 2 minutes. I didn't really understand what was going on there. The same flat earther, when we talk about observations, I'm going to be talking about sextants. We're going to be talking about celestial navigation. The same flat earther, instead of being honest and saying, I don't really know anything about sextants, said this. You can look at the transcripts at the bottom, talking about the index arm. Notice the angle is a right angle. We've got the vertex labeled. Notice the angle is a right angle. Look at that vertex, right up here. Obviously, it's not a right angle. It's a 60-degree angle.
Okay, it doesn't look right.
This vertex can only happen with straight right angles. Clearly, somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about, giving their opinion on celestial navigation, are they going to be honest and say, actually, I didn't know what I was talking about? Or are they going to lie, even though they've deliberately labeled the vertex, labeled the angle, and we can see by the transcript they're clearly talking about this angle? Or are they going to lie and say they're talking about a 90-degree angle between the ground and the person who stood up holding the sextant, something which isn't mentioned in the video whatsoever? Okay? Because if you're going to comment on celestial navigation, I want you to be honest enough to tell me that you understand it, because those observations only prove the globe. What else proves a globe is when something falls behind the curvature of the Earth. When it falls behind the curvature of the Earth, we could follow this and we'll see the splash happens when this object, we all know what we're talking about here. The splash will happen when this object is somewhere a couple of inches below the surface. When it hits... I
think MC Toon might have covered this as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because remember when we got the video out and we played the actual thing from...
Oh, I think we looked at this because we mentioned it and we went and pulled up Flatzoid's video.
Yeah, it was Flatsoid's video and Reg's videos that we compared together because it got mentioned on Tunes.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
See the splash, but it doesn't occur when we're on that red line. But what a flat earther might do is recognize that and then delete that curvature, tell nobody that curvature was deleted, and then claim, oh, thank you, Red's Rhetoric, for proving the curve of the earth. So honesty is something I'm really, really going to push home. The last thing I'm going to say, and it is the last thing, and I know I'm pushing my time here, is I want to look at this comment here. Flatzoid needs to be honest and tell everybody that his observations are all about his belief in God. We can see it right here. God is supernatural. Science is only for nature and not for the supernatural.
And that is your time.
Well,
Right.
and now we need Flatsoid side.
Yeah, well, his intro starts pretty much straight away, I think.
Okay.
Let's get, if you will remove your presentation tab.
Okay, I'm not going to share my screen, obviously, but I did at least prepare something. Okay. First, we have to establish what we observe and how we interpret what we see. Our perspective is the main driving force on how we deduce the reality presented to us. From the age of having understanding, you are bombarded with a worldview that's foundations is rooted in having a perspective on life that is set to you. This means that you are shown images, art, and fed narratives of the globe that is reality. You are taught to just accept it, and what taught in schools and institutions is just fact. You are not taught to think for your own and take logical deduction to what is presented as reality. When you open a book, you see a globe. When you turn on the television, you see a globe. You get songs of space and travel and fantasy way beyond one's imagination. You are conditioned to trust the government and to trust any authoritative figure. When you were in school, did the education system teach you how to think logically or to accept the narrative based on the proposition that it is logic? Let's take a look at an example. When you are sitting, lying down or standing at this moment in time, do you experience any movement of the ground beneath your feet? We are taken to a faith-based deduction on what we are taught, not what you observe. We are told the earth is moving under our feet. We are told that we should not experience the movement because of its megalithic size. Is this what we really observe? When you look outside, what do you see? Do you see the sky moving overhead, or do you perceive the ground and yourself to be moving? You see, this perception is based on your programming. You observe no movement, but you just accept it to be moving. You observe the sky to be moving, but you just accept it as a trick of your eyes. It's the ground moving. Or you are not taught that it was the ground moving. You would even come to this conclusion. Would you come to this conclusion if you were taught it was not the ground moving? You are hardwired to follow the perspective prescribed to you without question. So this brings to me my first evidence for flat earth. Yes, I am labeled the flat earther, all because of the flat earth society. I tell you now, I live on a stationary horizontal plane. Even though we get all fed and controlled opposition narrative based on upward accelerating space pizza, which is nonsense, I boldly take the flat earth stigma, all because I know I would rather trust my senses than trust the worldview based on faith rooted in a religion of Jesuits. So evidence number one, we experience a stationary plane. We do not experience the movement of the ground, but the sky above us. Now, the opponents will bring up man-made mechanisms like the focal pendulum to appease their correlations. This, unfortunately, is the puddle we sit in. The globe is based on faith and is branched and is trenched in pseudoscience, masquerading as science, just to fit the correlative bias. Evidence number two, the globe first has to assume after measurements are based off of a horizontal plane. We can observe daily that the horizontal is only optical and far surpasses the narrative of the set radius for the globe.
Wait a minute, he said
We
evidence
can demonstrate
number two.
things vanishing
I was
bottom
still
up
waiting
on
for
flat
evidence
surfaces,
number one.
hence on my channel many times and many others, with angles that are limited and other optical phenomena like refraction and so forth. It's all optical and can be shown to be this every day. The curve, however,
Ah,
must
so
be
if you shut
geographic,
your eyes,
and this is set
it's not
physically.
optical.
This means it has no room to change. As soon as you invoke optical effects that change the geometry of the so-called heliocentric model, you have thrown the heliocentric
GPS.
radius under the bus. Hence the black swan.
Our ground positioning
Also
system.
note why
Yeah,
my
that's not optical.
so-called 11 frames is such a devastating argument. I love when the globe defenders bring it up because it's a concession that the curve is not physical, but only optical. Hence,
No, it's
removing
not.
the inferior mirage is cry that I took away the curve. The measurements
You
are
did take away the curve.
are then
The
calculated into
horizon's
the globe from the
optical.
horizontal and stationary measurements. So if it was a globe, if it was a globe, why then would we first measure the stationary horizontal plane to then transform it into a globe? Why then would you require calculations like a
You don't
Haverside
do that.
formula if it
Huh?
was a globe? What is level? Well, when we look at definitions of level, we see it
What
means
is
flat,
level?
horizontal, no curve with no part higher or lower. Yet we still find
Yeah,
a contradiction
exactly.
creeping in some translations, like the
No
Merriam
part
Webster
higher,
dictionary.
lower than
Parallel.
After
what?
stating that it is flat,
Oh, you missed that.
horizontal,
That,
and
that
not
could be on
curving,
any surface.
still at the end tells us has to have the balls to level is a curve of the earth. If you do not see the contradiction, then I'm afraid you have successfully
No.
been indoctrinated. Places we observe to be flat, large bodies of water at rest, like the Suez Canal, many, many thousands of kilometers of level water. Or how about the Nile River that flows only one direction, that is also level and contradicts having a new tangent going down from your feet at every direction? Or how about many salt flats or the railways that show no curve? Evidence number 3 would be the fact we have gas pressure. How does this apply? Well, simply first, what is gas pressure? It's the force exerted by the gas on the surface of a container, surface wall of a container.
Atmospheric pressure.
Now we get to the argument.
That's pressurized gas.
We have pressure gradients. Where is your container? That's so dishonest. We also get fed the spoon-fed
Well,
of
you know about
faith-based
dishonesty,
gravity.
Flatsoid.
The contradictions of gravity faces the fact that it's never been anything other than correlative based and is enough to point out something supported by natural law, which is flat earth based. Flat earth based is based on the second law of thermodynamics and doesn't violate it. Gravity violates that. We can demonstrate every day you require containment to have gas pressure, and we can demonstrate gas pressure gradients based on the behavior of gas in containment. Gravity is not seen as a force and thus invalidates F equals ma to compound the argument that it is a force held to hold gas down. I have yet to see any demonstration of gravity hold down gas inevitably. I, however, have seen the countless demonstrations of gas being brought in containment, then dispersing into the surrounding system. While I hope I made it clear to you that based on my perspective, that evidence is very clear why I say it's a stationary horizontal plane. I hope you really understood these statements and take deep thought into how you perceive reality, as it's all based on how you choose to be honest with yourself.
His opinion is evidence. That's what I think he's claiming.
Correct. And then he's saying everybody should be honest with themselves.
All right.
Start with him.
Baldycats, when you are ready.
Yeah. So do we get into a back and forth or not somewhere?
It's pretty much a back and forth all the way through, I think, to be honest. So you might as well just pick a point because it just no, I don't want that one. Where did I make it? Yeah, but what you can always go to the bit where he claims that the moon is made of plasma.
Oh yeah, I remember that bit.
That's about an hour and 30 or so in, I think, because it's on about and how it regenerates and
yeah, I remember that bit. Yeah, I thought that was amusing. That I think he actually pulled him up on that one, and he tried to divert, dodge, and weave somewhere. He dodged and weaved somewhere with that.
Just trying to see where that starts.
Yeah, there's plasma. So it must have been. It
might even be before that. There. I've got a mention of plasma regenerating at 1 hour 24. Let's see if I can find where that. Go to about an hour and 20.
There's an image on the screen, so if I can get to just where that is.
Meters long. You move a camera behind, behind. So you move a camera so you can't see a light in the distance in a 10-meter long room. If you are correct in what you're saying, how on earth can we see ships that are 3 miles out just start dipping below the horizon? This is a 10-meter room. It's a 10-meter room.
You know what this shows you? It shows me
that you're hiding a camera. You're putting a camera level below level with some lights on the floor. Sorry, I'll give you a second in a minute.
You're still talking over me every time.
I will. Let me just say this, then I'll be quiet. I'll just be quiet. We have discussed 3 pieces of evidence, and your debunk.
Oh, that's right. He had a light on the floor and he blocked it with something.
Essentially amounts
with a can
watching a car drive down the street, to hiding a lamp behind a piece
the
of
car
metal,
driving down the street,
and then hiding a camera or putting a camera at an angle where some lights in a 10-meter room are imagine scaling that up. Someone would walk down the street, they'd be gone in no time at all. If somebody ran a 200-meter sprint on a straight track, you'd only be able to see the head by the time they got to the end of the track. Do you honestly think this comports with reality? Do you honestly think this is actually related in any way to what we see? Flatzoids, you are clutching at straws. These delusions are not doing you any favors. I will shut up now, but please.
The projection is hectic, guys. The projection is hectic with this guy. I show actual diagrams and presentations and demonstrations, and yet I'm the one that's clutching at straws. This is really sad, guys. What has he shown? He's shown just a picture and say, I believe it's that, so therefore it's that. So he's just saying correlation on faith. Where I show actual demonstration, I explain why the mechanics works that way, and I'm the one that's not bringing anything. Let me explain just this one picture to you, cats, because it seems you have a hard time understanding.
Yes, please explain, Flatzoid.
Angle to first object. Remember, shit shrinks in the distance. Is a different angle to the object in the distance. So this angle is larger than this angle. Therefore, it becomes more acute as it moves away in the distance. So therefore, you have bottom-up obstruction. Thanks to the Rayleigh criterion, the ground will have the larger angular size, and you will see the ground before you see the bottom of that object because it's too small to recognize.
Yeah, none of them actually understand what it means.
Thank you very much.
Wow, that was awesome. So, should we get into a discussion about the Rayleigh criterion? Do you want to get into a deep physics discussion with me, Flatzo? Because I've kept it quite simple up to this point. But we can talk actual mathematics, Rayleigh criterion, and physics. I'll give you the option, yes or no. Do you want to go down the route where we actually start discussing the Rayleigh criterion and mathematics?
No, because you.
No, brilliant. Let's move on to number 3. Let's move on to number 3. Oh, right. So, whose turn is it to give a point? Is it yours or mine?
Go ahead. You've been doing it all night anyway.
Thank you. And doing it brilliantly, by the way.
There's one thing in the chat that a lot of people are asking about. One of Flatzoid's rebuttals was about, to your thing, Caps, was the plasma moon. Is the answer to the shadows. I don't know if you guys want to discuss that, but the chat are really excited to hear about Flatzoid's rebuttal to your shadows on the moon.
Brilliant. Let him go for that, yeah.
Okay. What's your rebut about it? Shadows, he said shadows can only curve on a sphered surface, which is false.
No, I didn't say that.
No, that's not what he said.
I said that the shadow on the moon during a lunar eclipse is spherical, because it's the shadow of the Earth cast on the moon. So that implies, obviously, that the Earth is spherical. That's what I said. That happens during only a lunar eclipse. That's what I'm referring to.
Based on a flat Earth model, the lunar eclipse is based on what?
Well, I don't know, because flat Earth is nonsense. Why are you asking me about a flat Earth model? Why are you asking me about that?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were trying to bring both evidences. Yeah. Why are you only trying to bring yours now and just obfuscate from mine?
I'm
if
sorry.
It's plasma cannot
You want me
regenerate
to bring
itself,
flat Earth evidence?
if it's plasma cannot regenerate itself,
You want me to bring evidence for? So you want me to bring evidence for the flat Earth?
Why not answering me? Can plasma regenerate itself, Kat? Very simple.
What are you
answer.
referring to? Are you referring to blood plasma? Are you talking about ionized gas when you talk about plasma?
Ionized gas, plasma. That's what plasma is. Ionized gas. Come on.
And when you say regenerate itself, what do you mean?
Like the phases of the moon, or when it has eclipse.
Sorry. So let me. The question was this, right? Please let your answer match the question. The question was, you said about plasma and can it regenerate itself? I said, what do you mean by plasma regenerating itself? So that was the question. When we talk about ionized gas and plasma regenerating itself, that was the question. Your answer to can plasma gas regenerate itself was the phases of the moon. Now, that is an answer to a different question, Flatzoid. The question I'm asking is, what do you mean when you say plasma can regenerate itself? Can I have an answer to that question?
Okay, it's just the way it has the phases, just like you have an eclipse.
Sorry, so plasma. We've just agreed that plasma was ionized gas. You asked me, can plasma regenerate itself? I asked you, because I wasn't sure what you were talking about, whether you were talking about electrons, free electrons being mopped up by positive ions. I didn't know what you were talking about. So I asked you, what does regenerating plasma mean? And you said the phases of the moon. So can you see how your answer is an answer to a different question? Maybe a question like, what is on screen right now? Have you shown a picture of the phases of the moon? That's the kind of answer that your question, that's the kind of question that your answer's been to, but it's not the answer to my question. So can you specifically tell me what you mean by the sentence, can plasma regenerate itself? Just that word.
Again, what is the cause of ionized gas?
So, right. The question was, Flatzoid, you asked me the question, can plasma regenerate itself? I asked you to clarify the question for the benefit of the 900 people watching and the 2 people watching on your channel. And
2 people watching on each channel.
What do you mean by can plasma regenerate itself? What do you mean by the question?
Again, how is ionized gas generating itself into plasma?
No. You said, can plasma regenerate itself? Did you misspeak?
I'm trying to get you to get it, but you're not answering.
Just tell
simple
me.
Yes or no.
Tell me what you meant by the question, or you misspoke. If you misspoke, just tell me you misspoke. But just tell me what you meant by the question. Don't lead me around the houses. I'm not going that way.
I'm trying to, if you would stop talking for 2 seconds.
So tell me what you meant. Go.
Simple. It has a cycle. It goes through this cycle.
Tell me what you meant by the question.
Itself based on electromagnetic forces.
Tell me what you.
Okay, so I believe the question was what do you mean by plasma regenerating itself? So can you answer that question? That way we can get the question that you asked, make sure we get that answered, because I think that a lot of people on the sides would like to know the answer to both of those questions. That way we can move forward.
I can't see you answering it.
Like I'm saying, ionized gas regenerating itself is just me trying to say it goes through a cycle. So it's just regenerating based on the electromagnetic forces. That was it.
So can I just define, you asked me the question, because we're still all very unclear. You asked me the question, how does, or just does plasma regenerate itself? That's what you asked me. And I said, what does that mean? And you said the phases of the moon or something. I have no idea. Your answer there still doesn't help. Can you just tell me what you mean by the word regenerate in that question? Just that one word. What do you mean by that one word? It's really nice and simple. You're the expert on it. Please tell me.
Electromagnetic forces.
So electromagnetic forces means regenerate. Does the word regenerate mean electromagnetic forces? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Flatzoid?
I say it goes through a cycle thanks to
What
electromagnetic
does
forces.
the word regenerate mean in your question? I want to answer your question. You asked me, does plasma regenerate? I have asked you about 50 times, what do you mean by the word regenerate? I'm going to make this really specific and clear. Just tell me what you meant by the word regenerate, so we all know that you're not making this up and you've got some idea what you're talking about.
I just told you.
Tell me again.
Electromagnetic forces and how they work with the ionized gases helps it to regenerate. So therefore, it is cycling. Do you get it?
So what I said originally was right. You are talking about when a gas is either superheated or, when it gets extremely energetic, some electrons can be lost. So we have this sea of positive ions and free electrons. And you're saying the electrostatic forces between those may then cause some of the free electrons to be mopped up by some of the positive ions, right? That's not regenerating plasma. What that is doing is that is removing ions and free electrons and reforming atoms in the earth. So when lightning strikes, it gets very, very hot. The air gets ionized. We have free electrons. We have positive nuclei. Electrostatic forces pull them together, and that's it. There's no cycle. It's it. They've been broken apart and put back together. Now, there's about 1,000 people in the chat all wanting to know what that's got to do with moon phases or the shadow of the Earth on the moon. I know you're going to give us a good answer, so I'll put myself on mute.
So there's no electromagnetic fields above the Earth.
Okay, so let's go again. There is no Would
How
you like me
much time are you
to
going to repeat yourself? I'm literally, you're making my point when you brought up lightning.
Brilliant. Would you like me to tell you what electric fields surround? What does an electric field surround?
I surrender. I can't take it anymore.
Everything.
Right. Electric fields surround charged
That's what the
particles.
entire
Of
debate
course,
was
things
like.
with a charge. So when you said there's no electromagnetic field in the other, when you
I never said that. I'm saying, is that what you're saying?
No, clearly not. What I'm saying, I'm telling you now. What I'm saying is when the ionization occurs, we end up with free electrons, we end up with positive ions, and we can treat them as point charges. Each will have their own radial electric field, and the field lines will act in opposite directions because it's got opposite charges. That will result in an electrostatic force, which will pull them together. And then when they are together, the sum of those forces, the sum of those electrostatic charges the charges is zero after they've been pulled back together. But when they are separate, the sum is not zero around each charge. So then they will be pulled back together. So I have no idea, and the chat is still confused. What has this got to do about moon phases? Please tell us.
The thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're making my point. So when the electrostatic charges change in frequency, it changes the phases. So when you have an eclipse,
Does anybody think he sometimes sounds a bit like
the cycle
Scooby
it's going through?
It's there
sounds
are
like
hints
who?
of super rats.
Oh,
Super
super
rats.
rats.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes he does get that sort of same whiny tone to it.
Timbo's going, is this buffering? I keep hearing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yep.
And over and over and over and over and over. And over and over and over. And over and over.
It was even worse listening to it live.
Yeah, it was. Bloody hell.
So when you say an
But this way you know it's going to end.
Yeah.
electrostatic charge changes in frequency, what do you mean? And I'll give you a heads up on this one. Right. So how does the size of a charge, or what is the relationship between the size of a charge and vibration?
Temperature. He said temperature.
It's the temperature.
So the relationship between size of charge and vibration is temperature. Are you talking about vibration of the ions and electrons? Or are you talking about, right, so we're not actually talking about the frequency of an electric field. You're just talking about energy that particles have.
The electric field is what conducts its cycle. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Right. So let me get this straight. What you're saying is...
Right. Thank you.
No, because what you said is complete bullshit. But what you're basically saying is this. We have atoms...
And you have ionized gas, it's not caused by electrostatic forces.
So what you're saying is we have ionized gas.
Wow.
You're saying we've got ionized gas, right? So free electrons have been lost. We've got positive nuclei behind. And then electrostatic forces allow the positive nuclei to mop up the electrons. And then you've taken that, and this is the bit I'm gonna ask you on now. You've taken that leap to then talk about the fact that they pulled each other together. It's something vague to do with frequencies. Ooh, something really vague to do with frequencies, and that is somehow vaguely linked to moon phases. Can you solidify that and tell us like really in detail what the hell you're on about when you talk about frequencies having something to do with moon phases, because you're inventing a new brand of physics. We all want to hear it.
New brand of physics. So you've never seen an arc reactor before with ionized gas inside.
So an arc reactor causes the moon phases. In what way is a moon phase like? Right, explain it.
With your red herrings and straw mans, just listen to what I'm saying.
I am trying to.
How does it cause the ionized gas to behave when you change the frequency?
The frequency of what?
Electromagnetic.
What? What the hell are you talking about? The frequency of what?
If you put more power,
that doesn't change the frequency. The frequency of an alternating current isn't to do with the power. The frequency of an alternating current is to do with how often the terminals switch, not the voltage, not the current. DC. What are you talking about?
Switching. Alternate current. Direct current is straight. Is ions go direct or alternate?
Is ions current? Ions aren't a current. Ions will move a particular way in an electric field.
Do ion gases run on alternate current or DC?
Do ion gases run on what are you talking right? So let me just explain to this how it works. When you have an ionized gas,
yeah, because you keep changing your story.
When you've got an ionized gas, the cations will move to the cathode. The anions will move to the anode. If the anion and anodes, if the cathode and anodes change places, then you're going to get alternating forces on those ions. If they don't change places, they'll be in the same direction. So can you clarify your question when you say, do ionized gases work on electric? And I don't know why you're asking me. You should tell me. Can you clarify your question?
In other words, how does an arc reactor work? Would you know how arc reactors? No, I just want to know, would you know how an arc reactor works to create plasma gas, ionized gas?
Yeah, ionized gas is produced by having so much energy that you cause ionization. You meet the ionization energy of the atoms, and free electrons are released into the or electrons are released from each atom. So it's usually done by super high temperatures.
Okay.
And then what happens is those ions will move to the opposite electrode.
Okay, and if the moon is plasma and it has those frequencies, what happens?
Sorry, what frequencies?
I'm just saying, based on the energy, would it be able to change and have its so-called shadow?
What
as it regenerates?
The thing about people that believe in woo is that they throw out the words frequency and energies without knowing what they're talking about. So let's pin you down on this. When you talk about the frequency of the moon, can you define, for the 1,000 people watching on this channel and the 4 or 5 people watching on your channel, can you define what you mean by the frequency of the moon?
Did he say 2 people on his channel again?
It's 4 or 5.
Oh, 4 or 5, yeah.
Forces attributing to the moon phases.
So here we go again. Electromagnetic forces, we can look at Coulomb's law, right? So Coulomb's law, we've got K, Q1, Q2 over R squared, and that will determine the size of the electrostatic force between 2 charged particles. Now, nowhere in Coulomb's law, if anybody Googles it, does it talk about frequency. So has your understanding of electrostatic forces gone beyond Coulomb himself? Can you tell us what you mean?
Again, just about temperature. That's what I was saying. The frequency.
No,
temperature change.
The frequency of what? I'm asking the question because I really know.
I want to learn.
What happens when temperature changes, frequency changes? It moves faster.
What frequency? The frequency of what?
Temperature goes up.
The frequency of what?
Energy into the system. So when you take energy when you remove energy, transfer it somewhere, or you put more energy into the system, what happens? Does it have the same phase or does it change?
No one knows what the fuck you're talking about. Can you tell us what frequency you are?
Is he getting the word phase, like as in electrical currents where you do have phases? Because you can have in electricity.
This is the problem. I think these people are used to just throwing something out there and not being questioned on it. He hasn't got a clue what he's talking about. He doesn't know what plasma is, nothing. He's got no understanding of it at all. But they hear all these other idiots flinging these terms out there and not getting questioned on them. And they think, oh, it's perfectly safe. I'll just say this. Nobody's going to question me on it. And as soon as they start asking them questions, brain lock, because they haven't the clue what they're saying.
Because I know you have different phases in electricity and in alternating current.
Oh, single phase, 3 phase. Yeah. But
and
no,
phases in the moon. So
Yeah, phases of the
obviously
moon.
it's
There
all
you
the same
go.
thing.
See?
Phases of the moon are
See,
the same as
Timbo's
having a
got it.
three-phase power supply.
See?
You know.
There you go. Can't debunk that.
Yeah, well, we have plasma and gases, and yeah, we got plasma, and it's mostly what our blood is made up of too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Must be the same plasma, right?
Oh, that's how we get a blood
Wrong.
moon.
Wrong.
That's how we get a blood
if you
moon.
get
Then.
Tony Stark to put his arc reactor on the moon, then
God,
it's quite cool.
I wish I was in East Acton.
Well, you're meant to be.
Oh, well, I thought I was meant to be. Yeah.
Move on. What do you mean when you say the frequency? The frequency of what? It's a very
power
easy
of
question.
electromagnetic forces attributed to the plasma.
It's
So
just
I
word
just
salad.
said to you that electromagnetic forces don't have a frequency. Where did you get the idea that electromagnetic forces between ions have a frequency?
Again, I was trying to explain it.
Please
with
explain.
energy
I'll put
levels.
myself on mute and you can tell us all how
just did.
electromagnetic
Energy
forces have a
level.
frequency.
What I was trying to explain with energy levels. As easy as that, Baldy. But again, we gain.
Sorry, say that again. Say that again. Let's not skip past it. Let's hold your toes to the fire and talk about it. Say it slowly so everybody can hear. What do you mean by the frequency of electromagnetic forces?
Energy transmitted to have the ion gases moving in their cycle.
What do you, so you mean that energy, what is frequency? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Energy is
I was
frequency.
explaining it with frequency.
Brilliant. Can you please explain it better because nobody knows what you mean? And I'm sure you
More
understand it
heat,
really well.
more heat, faster movement. Less temperature, less movement.
Right. Now that would have been far, far better than
That's what I
inventing and
said the whole
invoking
time.
terms like frequency. So
That's
what you're
I said
saying
the
is,
whole time.
what you're saying as the temperature increases, the movement of particles increases because they have more kinetic energy. Is that, have I made your argument for you? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay, what the hell has that got to do with moon phases?
If the moon is plasma, it goes through the phases and therefore it has different energy levels across the moon.
The problem with plasma, Flatzoid, is it's invisible. When you look,
Is it?
when plasma is invisible.
Shall I quickly show you a plasma?
Yeah, what you see when
A
you look at
plasma.
when you're looking at plasma is actually electromagnetic radiation being given out by the de-excitation of electrons in the form of light.
Oh wow! But now it's not invisible anymore. Weird.
Right. And does it ever look solid when you see that light being, does it ever look solid? Does it ever perhaps look extremely solid and have shadows on the surfaces, shadows that move across? There we go. It's a perfect representation of the moon. Can we just pause that there? Go back to where you show the plasma.
What's that showing there?
Yeah.
Kat, what is that showing there?
Absolutely nothing to do with the moon. Could you?
Nothing showing yet.
So when it
Would
comes
that
to
frequency,
a frequency of what? What are you looking at?
the energy?
What energy? Like you don't even know what you're
They're not
looking at.
bringing energy into the system.
That is amazing. And show me the
No,
system.
but
Go
you just
back.
said it got nothing to do with it. Really
Show me
odd.
the system. Show me the system. Right.
There we go.
Does
Look how
that
it's
look?
moving. Check
Does
how
that
it's
look
moving.
anything like the moon to you?
Look how it's moving based on
Yeah.
that.
Does the
Weird.
moon do that?
Is
Does
that
the
not-
moon
is
do
it-
that? Yes or
listen,
no? Be honest.
Is that part invisible and that part you can see?
get
It's
back
an
to the
honesty
honesty thing.
test. Does the moon
Yeah.
move like that? Yes or no?
No, because this is
No.
just an example
No,
of
there you
ion
go.
gases. I never
No.
said this was the moon.
Okay,
There's a
so
difference. Stop
basically-
a false equivalence.
So no, it's not a false equivalence because you
Yes.
said
I
if the
brought this
moon is
up-
plasma,
Listen,
you
I
said
brought
if the
this
moon is
up- I
plasma,
brought
and then
this
you
up because
showed
said
me that.
plasma
Moderator.
cannot be seen. You told everyone
All
here you
Hang on,
cannot
hang on a
see.
second. We're
So I
starting.
brought-
We're starting to roll over each other. So let's see if we can find a spot where we can agree to begin from or restart from. So the question about plasma has been brought up, and there's a lot has been said about plasma. I don't think we've gotten anywhere on this point. So their claim of false equivalence. Flatzoid, can you explain what you mean by false equivalence?
He's taking this and he's saying, I'm saying it's the moon. I'm not saying it's the moon. He said simply, he made a claim that you cannot see the gas, and I proved him wrong by showing you can see the gas. That was as simple as that.
Okay. And I believe that Katz, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're trying to clarify how plasma relates to the moon claim, correct?
Yeah, the whole thing is we talked about the moon and the shape of the Earth's shadow on the moon, and Flatzoid specifically said, anybody can wind back and listen, if the moon was plasma, and then we got debunked and got derailed on the whole frequency and stuff when he made things up. So his claim is essentially that somehow the moon is plasma. Yet when he shows me some plasma, it looks absolutely nothing like the moon.
I said if. Remember your keyword, yeah, if, and say
Right.
it was.
Okay,
So
well, in that case, can I ask, why would you say that the moon might be plasma?
I said it could be plasma, and that's why you see the shadows the way they do with the eclipse.
Okay, so can I ask you again? Why did you say the moon might be plasma? Is it you saying that base just because the moon has a repeatable pattern of shadows on it? Are you saying the moon might be plasma just because
Yes.
there is a repeat? Right. So basically, rather than the likelihood, if we're going to compare the two models, rather than the fact that the phases of the moon fit perfectly with everything else we see, if I can share my screen, FGFE.
Phases of the moon worked on the flat Earth before globe Earth even came into the story, by the way.
I will tell you what I'm thinking. Can I share my screen, FGFE? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So when we look at observations like this, that the globe comports to, when we look at this, that the globe comports to, when we look at this, that the globe comports to, that you've all agreed it comports to, you've agreed it comports to the way the sun sets, you've agreed that it comports to this, you've agreed that it comports to this, you've agreed that it comports to this, you've agreed it comports to that, you've agreed all these things. But when we come to the moon, you're saying actually what's more likely than the Earth being a globe is that the moon is made of ionized gas, some sort of plasma, and for some reason that you can't even explain, there are shadows inside the crater of the moon, and a shadow that moves across the moon in a regular repeatable pattern that holds the shape of the Earth on it, for an eclipse at least anyway. And you're going to claim that the most likely explanation for that is that the moon is plasma. And when you try and show me that, the picture of plasma you show me is dancing around like my nan on fire, looking nothing like the moon whatsoever, looking bright blue, having no craters, having no shadows, having no characteristics of the moon whatsoever. And you are going to tell me that that is a more likely explanation for the moon than the moon actually being a big spherical rock illuminated by the sun. Just like you said that a car driving down the street was a brilliant explanation of the star trails, and hiding a torch with a piece of metal was a brilliant explanation for sunsets. So I now understand your argument. Forgive me if I am not swayed by it.
Can I please share my screen?
Oh, please do.
I'll share screen.
Consider myself to be an ordinary, humble person who's living for.
Oh, we got into trouble playing that last time.
Here we go. See, there we go. Very simple. If it's in like the listen, you remember this is supposed to be with the flat Earth model in the water, it's in the firmament.
Perfect.
So
Perfect replication, mate.
phases,
Perfect.
Just like we see with actual demonstration.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Where's
I
your
cannot
guys'
see any way
demonstration?
in which that doesn't behave like the moon. I
Where's your
cannot see
actual
any way
demonstration?
in which dipping a plate in water that's colored blue does not represent the moon. I cannot debunk that. I can't think of any reason why dipping a plate in some water doesn't replicate the shadows moving across the craters of the Earth. Seriously, you've got a car
So was
driving
that
down
a
the street.
spherical plate? Was that a spherical plate?
Oh, well, there we go. Debate's over. He showed a spherical plate in water. Well done, Fats.
I said, was it a spherical plate?
Well, half of it was underwater, but I will trust you if you
No,
say
it wasn't a
spherical,
spherical plate.
I
but
will
it
trust
still
you if you
had-
say that, yeah.
It still had what you said was impossible to show on the flat Earth. So that's the whole point.
No. I never said dipping a plate in water was impossible to show on a flat Earth.
Again, it was about the demonstration, not the dipping the plate. It's
Well,
about-
let's dive into that demonstration. Can you please tell me how that demonstration causes a repeatable 29.5 day cycle of a waxing on, waxing off shadow from the right to the left on the moon? How does that
Yeah, wax on,
do
wax
that?
off.
Easy.
Well,
Plasma.
because Easy plasma. Well, let's go back to plasma. How
Easy
does
plasma.
plasma
Easy.
Word for the day.
create a 29.5 day repeatable cycle over the moon, or are you just clutching at straws?
If you have the same energy levels going the same cycle, it's going to do the same cycle.
What do you mean energy levels? What do you mean energy levels?
Electromagnetic forces.
Right. So we go back again. Electromagnetic forces, right? We talked about, remember we talked about this, Flatsoid, about Coulomb's law and the attraction between different oppositely charged objects, etc. You're going back to the fact that oppositely charged particles have forces acting upon them. And you're saying, that'll do. That's how the moon phases work.
I said it's possible. I didn't say it is. Remember? You even said if. It was just based on the flat Earth, because you said it is not possible on the flat Earth. So I had to prove you wrong. It is also based
well
on
done,
flat
you proved me wrong.
Which invalidated your argument once again.
Awesome. You did a great job of invalidating it. Well done. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that that's bullshit, and we can move on to the next point. What I'll do before I hand over to you is I will just summarize a few things. I will summarize. Can I just share my screen one more time? I will summarize the fact just for now, and then we'll go on to other stuff. I'm happy to stay here all night. That we talked about bringing repeatable and reproducible observations, right, of our model. And I brought, you know, for example, this and this and this and this and this and this. Oh, and that was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I brought
this.
I remember I bring actual demonstration.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. You've done driving down the water inside like the moon. As I do, Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I have no idea what you've brought, Flatsoid.
Okay, can I quickly share my screen?
You can. Can I ask FGF if I can nip to the loo, because I had this massive drink of orange before I came out, and a couple of pints since.
Yeah,
can I do a second loo break?
We were going to have about 10 minutes of this, and then yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, everybody. Well, I'm not going to talk about anything while he's not here. So.
Well, I've stopped the screen sharing, so you can pop yours up.
Okay, thanks.
I just want to say, guys in the chat, that is insane. I love you all.
And I just want to say thank you to all my people that's come in. We've hit about 95, which is my best ever.
Awesome.
So far, so
that is good.
Not for the supernatural. You don't care enough to educate yourself properly about the big things, because to you, God takes care of it. You've got your idea that the earth is flat because of God. Fine, keep hold of that idea. But don't go around pretending you know about science. You've clearly been shown tonight to know less about science than my wet shoelace knows about Pink Floyd. All right? Just have your beliefs and stop preaching stuff that you don't understand. That is my closing statement.
All right. Flatsoid, you have 3 minutes when you begin.
Thank you. Okay. Wow. How can I put this? He tells me I don't bring anything, yet what am I showing here? My video, my video, my video, my video, my
His
video.
videos is
all
evidence,
having
yes.
actual demonstrations and mechanics explaining everything that he has shown ignorance to.
You don't.
Also, he says he knows what science is, and yet we haven't even chatted about science here. All he does is he does not know what science is, because we weren't even talking about science this whole debate. Also, he might want to reconsider actually saying he knows what science is, if he cannot even know how to set up a hypothesis. Your whole globe is based on pseudoscientific reasoning. It's based on correlation-based, not causation-based, Baldy Cats. So you might want to reconsider. Also, next time, instead of telling me, oh, you show me debunking your claims with actual demonstration is not observable, repeatable, that's what repeatable means. I can actually go out and repeat what I observe. Hence why I have countless demonstrations and observations on my channel. So please do go up, and you guys can actually watch me show presentations showing where I actually explain this stuff to you. Hence why I think he got totally thrashed, and that's why he has not even addressed gas pressure without containment. He ran away from the stationary Earth, and he totally ran away from level water. So thank you again for coming. That's all I have to say. Thank you. It was actually fun. Even though you were showing to be dishonest the whole stream.
Oh, come on now. Let's not do the digs at each other. That's a closing statement.
No, that's the truth.
It's not the truth.
All right. Well, if you will be so kind as to stop sharing, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry.
That's
No worries.
basically it, I think.
Well, that was an
Yes.
interesting discussion. I will say this.
I've had fun.
Honesty or dishonesty, chat? What do you think? Shouldn't even have to ask I shouldn't even have to ask the peanuts that one.
No. I just so dishonest. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, what do you mean by evidence? That was one of his. Yeah, it depends on what you mean by evidence. What do you mean? What do you think I mean by evidence?
He says, "Oh, I've got all these demonstrations, all these proofs." No, all you've got is you going, "I don't feel the Earth moving, therefore it doesn't move." You know, I don't see this, I don't see that, blah blah blah. He's got nothing.
I did hear a Fleur. And Fleur that was worse than Falzoid last night. He got booted off Toons.
That British guy.
No, no, the next one, the one we looked at previously.
I have
the one that got booted off because he's actually a Poe.
Oh, well, let him back on again.
He hadn't been on before.
He'd not been on before.
Oh,
but we looked at a couple of his videos a few weeks ago because he was really dumb. Turns out he's a Poe.
Oh, not that other guy's name.
I mean, that's even worse than being the flat earther, is pretending to be one. I mean,
yeah.
That wasn't the one called
Daniel.
Jazzler or something?
No, the Daniel.
The Daniel, yeah. Geez, where did we hide that one? After that round somewhere. Oh, that's now that was dishonesty. Now, have we got any honesty with something to clean our brains with? Whose turn is it this
quiz?
week? Yeah, whose turn is it today?
My turn. Hang on a sec.
No, if you thought you were confused with that debate.
yeah. Wait till you get a load of this. This is going to be the sort of quiz where I have to go off and make a cup of tea.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Bye. I don't know how many more teas he's going to get into his title.
Let's share that.
Elmix, we looked at Toon v Flatsoid on Saturday.
Yes.
Let's do that.
You're looking for a
You're
thing.
looking for a thing. Well, aren't we all?
Oh, yeah.
You're all looking for a thing.
Something? We're
Just
looking
a
for
thing.
something.
A thing. Yeah, let's get the chat back. I want to see what goes on there. No. Live check on. There we go. Okay, now we're good. Okay, let's see if we work. Okay, the chat. I don't think it's as torturous as last week. Let's see. Okay, looking for
We'll be
a
the
thing.
judge of that.
As you know from my torture tests, you've got to just give me the answer. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. And I need to put up the.
I've just looked at the stream.
internal
I see my face is now the Australian flag.
Yes. I have lost. Where's the chat gone? Oh, there it is. Chat. Okay. case you want to give me some answers, and now I'm all set. Okay, let's go.
Right then.
Timbo Turtle's Twisted Torture Test of Terror. Question number 1. I'm looking for a thing.
Type it.
Version of this was invented by Professor Michael Faraday in 1824. No answers. Funny that. No,
There you go,
wasn't Google
Timbo.
Maps. Before the earlier versions used internal organs of animals.
You
I doubt anyone's going to get it yet. Have to be pretty knowledgeable. No, not a capacitor, not a cage. A Faraday cage. No, not electric motor. Not electroscope. Not a voltmeter. Okay. Toy versions first appeared by Thomas Hancock. There's a clue. Pioneer rubber manufacturer. Where a DIY set you had to construct it. Not a battery. Okay. In 1793, the first passengers in a full-size one of these was a rooster, a duck, and a sheep. So all of you were thinking along the electronics. I'll give you that one, Alan. I think that's close enough. So Alan's got it. Anyone else? Anyone else? Not a submarine. No. Other direction than a submarine. I think Larry DeMarch is trying to get it out there, but he's a little bit off. Okay, latex versions are most common, but foil is very pretty as well. And popular parties, birthdays. And a red one in the movie It. People worked it out. It's a balloon.
Yes.
I was going to say, Nina had 99 of them, didn't she?
Yeah, I would have accepted hot air balloon. I think that was close enough. Okay, let's move on.
Well, that was specific to one of the questions, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I'm just going to accept that. Okay, I'm looking for a product. Any guesses? No, not a condom. It's a bit. Okay, this product is mostly consumed in Mexico. What do they consume in Mexico? Okay.
Refried sick.
Nachos. Not nachos. This product can be used as a makeshift insect repellent. Not KY jelly.
Rolled up newspaper. Oh no, it doesn't repel them, it kills them.
No, no one's got it yet. And I'm checking all the chats. Okay, next one. This product has been to and consumed in space. Not tequila. I was trying to trick you into that, but no, not tequila. Although that probably would fit a list of 1 and 3. Not sure if it fits 2. Never tried it. I suppose if you put it on fire, it might. Aloe vera, no. Okay. Only North Korea and Cuba don't sell this product legally. Not beans.
Okay.
Alan?
I'll try
Yes.
something else.
Paul's got it. Paul's got it in the internal chat already.
Try that one.
Okay.
Oh, I spelled it wrong.
No, even if you spell it with a C, it's still wrong. Okay. Next.
Oh, dear.
This product is one of the longest continuous sponsors of the Olympic Games. Farmers has now got it. No one out in the chat, out in the peanut chat. Yeah, that's it, Alan. Okay.
Product.
Next clue. The company of this product invented the six-pack. No, no one out. No, let's go. And I think the last one should give it away. Recipe is locked in a safe in the museum in Atlanta. Yes, we finally got it. The correct answers out. Peanuts. We use Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay.
Distinct red and white colours and curvy bottle shapes would give this away.
Well, it repels insects. I thought the sugary content would attract insects.
Look, it does everything according to anyone who does. I could have found all sorts of things.
It's good at dissolving shit.
Yeah.
And Gary, I
Yeah.
don't think your answer fits in with the answers to the question, Gary.
Gary, what the...
If you don't want to play, don't
No.
comment.
Yeah. Okay, next. Okay, this time I'm looking for a city. This is a well-known city, a popular tourist destination.
Oh, that could mean a lot of them.
Well, there are a lot of well-known cities that are not very popular. So, eliminates a few.
And there's a lot of popular tourist destinations that are not cities.
That are not cities, no. They're not well known, yeah. Not Rome, no. Okay.
Ely.
Although not in recent years, this city is known for its stonework. No, that's not right. I'm trying to remember what I was going to write there. Why did I stop that? I think I was going to say. I don't know why I didn't finish that one. The city is known for its royal palaces. I think that's what I was going to say.
So not in recent years.
Not Atlantis, no. Not Helsinki. Not Athens, not Melbourne. Not many royal palaces in Melbourne. A very old city that was founded about
That's not old.
1450 AD.
That's not old. Good grief, you had to do
It's not
better
old.
than that. Right? No, it's not old.
Venice, no. No, not Bangkok.
What's the one that got covered with ashes?
I can't answer that.
Yeah, I know. That one.
In local language, its name can translate to Old Peak or Old Mountain or even Old Man, which I didn't put there, but not Tokyo or Paris. That might give it away if you think about Old Peak or Old Mountain. Not Vesuvius. That's the volcano, not the cities. And it's not Pompeii. Yes,
yeah,
we do
Pompeii,
have a correct
that's
answer.
what I was thinking of, Jinx you. Thank you.
It's not Pompeii, but we do
wrong.
have a correct answer. Yeah. That's wrong, but we do have a correct answer.
Well, then it's
It's
got
known
to be that
for
one.
its stone buildings.
Yeah.
And they did not use cement.
No.
Yes, there we go.
Yes.
So Farmers has got it in the chat, in our internal chat.
Yeah, I don't know the names of the city for where these ones could be. But you said the correct answer's already out.
Located at the edge of the Andes in a cloud forest.
What's on the end of the Andes? Euristes.
Euristes and your
Yeah.
handies.
Andes? Risties. Yeah.
Andes, wristies, armsies.
Armsies.
Yeah. Okay. And that should give it away.
Yeah, that place.
Yeah. But can you remember what it's called?
Yeah.
That's your picture.
Yeah.
I know, Larry. It's not O Vienna because it is known as O Vienna.
Machu Picchu.
Yeah. Okay. Question 4. This time I'm looking for an animal.
I'm going to get you a cat if you want.
I think Jinx Yu was the only one that was the first one out there. Yeah,
I'm suspecting this one might go off quicker for some people than others. No, not a snake. Okay. That reduces you down so you don't have to worry about penguins or leopard seals.
Yeah.
But every other animal is still on the cards. Okay. Some of these species on to these. I wrote that really badly. A few specialized species, such as the Merganizer. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's how you write it. I checked the spelling. Not a ratus. What animals have Merganizers? Do people know
No, it
what
can't
that
be
is?
snakes. I mean,
But admit, I didn't know what it was until I looked it up.
Zealand.
Ah, okay. 3 million of these are slaughtered each year for meat worldwide.
Rats.
We'll keep going. We'll keep going. In 2002, psychologist Richard Wiseman and colleagues at the University of Herefordshire, UK, finished a year-long laugh lab experiment concluding that of all the animals, XXXXX attract the most humour and silliness. It is said that if you're going to tell a joke involving an animal, make it a XXXXX. And not chickens. But I will say there is a correct answer out in the peanuts. I won't say what it is yet. But I think the next one will give it away. This has breeds like goldeneye, common eider, and rubber.
Yes. Oh dear. Yeah, I like that one.
And it's that word, but it doesn't start with F.
No.
Okay.
A rubber, yeah.
A water word before letters that starts with D. Does it?
Yeah, not F. Yeah, it doesn't start with F.
Oh,
Yeah, because if it was a rubber something, then Roxy Music wrote a song about that. Might be more latex than rubber.
There you go. Ducks. That was what I was looking for. Ducks. Okay.
Well, Paul should have got that one straight away.
I don't know. I might have tried to put him off the scent.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't know.
You got it first out there.
Popular Mr. Okay, I'm looking for you. The popular Mr. Potato Head toy is first sold. Yeah, sorry, I meant to say it was Larry DeMarch, but I didn't want to say then because it would have been a bit soon.
Mr. Potato Head. Bloody hell.
Okay. So what year? Oh, Alan's put in an effort.
Oh, the year.
That's not a bad effort, Alan. You're not far away. Okay.
I thought it was...
The first Chevrolet Corvette prototype was completed in this year.
Oh, no, that's the wrong answer.
Answers yet.
Wrong answer.
No correct answers yet.
That one.
Okay, going on to the next.
That one.
Mother Teresa opens a home for dying and destitute in Calcutta. That should get you at least close to the right decade or two.
Yeah, the first Corvette
Alan
prototype.
has the correct
too.
answer.
I know that one too.
So Alan has the correct answer in the chat.
That could have been 50. That one.
The iconic musical film Singing in the Rain premieres at Radio City Musical.
No idea.
No idea. Guess what? It wasn't 1990. Let's see if you get it from the next clue. Thick smog in London in December 4th. England causes 4,000 fatalities.
No.
Don't you remember that, Farmer?
No, this is all before my time.
Oh, okay.
I guarantee this is all before my time.
It's the other side.
Even before mine.
Exactly. There you go. It's before Alan's. It's before mine.
No, you're going too far back, Crumpy.
Way too far back. Getting closer. Nerd alert is closer, but he's maybe a little bit too high.
I know I'm close.
Judy Bassett is the closest. Oh, no, between. Yeah, I was going to say there's two that are very close, but they're on either side of each other. Yeah. Okay, Elizabeth II becomes Queen of England, United Kingdom after her death of her father. What year was that?
Oh, that would have been that one.
That one.
Farmers has got it. You haven't got it yet, Terry.
Oh.
I was going to say, way before my time.
I'm running out of years here.
I can just about remember.
You've gone a bit too high, mate. You've gone high.
Okay. Well, I'll have to go that one then.
I'll give you a clue. Nerd Alert has gone just a little bit too low. It's his last. There we go. We've got one correct answer. Thing. That won't help Terry, but it'll help everyone else.
Yes, it will. That's 52. I went 50, 54, 56, 55. I was all over the place.
Okay. Yep.
I know it was in the early 50s that prototype Corvette came out.
Yes. Okay, and I'm pretty sure the first person to get. I'm just going back to make sure I got it first. It was Larry DeMarch got that first.
Oh, Larry.
As I said, Judy was close, but the wrong way, and Humpy was close the other way.
Yeah, Larry.
But he had something else.
Larry Nerd Alert.
Okay. Okay, ready? Going for the element.
An element?
Here you go. This eliminates most of, well, not most actually, probably includes almost every element. Helium, no, not helium.
The fifth element.
Not hydrogen. The fifth element, no, she
Multipass
was fictional. She was fictional. Is a principal component of a class of media known as. Not quite yet. No, no. Not carbon.
I'll try this one.
Not lithium. Okay. Makes up 25% of the Earth's crust by weight.
Oh shit! I spelled it wrong.
No. No answers yet. Alan has the correct chemical symbol. What is that, Alan?
Oh, what? You mean you want me to type the full name out?
Yeah, I want the name. Yeah, I want the. You got to give me that name or you don't win. It's simple as that. There you go. Now you win. Okay. Atomic structure makes it extremely important semiconductor. It is the most important semiconductor in electronics and technology sector. I think we have a few correct answers. There we go. Another correct answer. Paul's got it right. Terry, you can...
I'm running out of elements here.
Judy that's what goes in fake boobs. That's not
yes, it's got the
yeah. No, I was almost going to say, Judy. Yes, you're getting there. I think you're on the right track. Okay, farmers. No, you're wrong, farmers. Yeah, but that's better. Terry, I was going to say they do not use gold in semiconductors. Would make them awfully expensive. It's produced commercially by the reduction of silica, unless you give it away, with coke in an electric furnace, and the impure product is refined. So I think most people have worked it out now from the answers. It is silicon. So, okay. This time I'm looking for a tool.
So Judy wasn't first.
No, Judy was thinking of enhancements. So it was Crumpy.
Have you bought your tool?
So Vroomfolder was the first one correct out in the Peanuts, I think. And the first one correct was Alan, followed by Paul internally. Very close. Okay, I'm looking for a tool.
Oh, come on, I've given you two options already, Timbo.
Yeah, whoops. Sorry, let's make this bigger. Yeah, they are tools. I will give you that. Bev and Anthony Rowley are definitely
I'm
tools.
imagining which person's names that Paul wrote.
This is an ancient tool, though.
Oh, okay.
As far back as ancient Egypt. Plow, no. No, I did think of a hammer, but I thought that would be too easy.
Where's your tool?
Okay. Next one. Okay. This is a cutting tool.
Ah,
also known for painting.
well, there goes my answer.
Not a chisel. No, not a spatula, not a knife. Okay. During the Industrial Revolution, mechanized powered versions generated by water wheels or steam engines. Basically transmitted the power for these. Okay. Let's move on. This tool will often have a headstock and a tailstock. What has a headstock and a tailstock? Alan has the correct answer already. Okay, next one. And they are located either end of the bed, regardless of the whether you're cutting wood or metal. No, not a plane, not a saw. Yes, that's correct, Paul. Okay, last one. A machine tool that rotates the workpiece about an axis of rotation to perform various operations such as cutting, sanding, curling, drilling, deformation, facing, and turning. With tools that are applied to the workpiece to create an object of symmetry about that axis. Yes, we have a correct answer out
What's
in
that
the
got to do with
peanuts.
paint?
Yeah.
Because you can also use one of these for painting.
How?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what does it do? What happens if when you turn it on and you put a paintbrush onto the object? What happens?
Oh, yes, they use them for pinstriping small things, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you're using the brush.
I was imagining that if you take a paint can, put a few holes in it, and spin it on the lathe.
Yeah, you paint the whole workshop. You paint the whole workshop.
Yeah.
Why do you think I put painting in there, guys?
Jackson Pollock.
What?
Yeah.
Remind yourself what my title of this.
No, that's tenuous at best.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch.
That's a bit of a stretch.
No, that is. Yeah, it came up several times in my research. Yes. Okay. I had to throw it out a bit.
So who got
okay, we're looking for a TV show this time.
Oh God.
Which
country?
Internally, it was Alan followed by Paul, which seems to be a bit of a trend.
Jinx you out there.
And then outside it was Xinju. I think that is Xinju. Is it? Yeah, I know.
Jinx you.
Jinx you.
Jinx you.
Jinx you.
Say it as you see it. Jinx you.
Jinx you.
You lose it for painting the same way you can use a pottery wheel for painting. If anyone's trying to work that out.
No, you
I'm looking for a TV show.
painting.
You go, Farmer. You tell.
But you also use that's not a chisel, but use something else for turning the wood on a lathe as well.
Do you use a vice for drilling?
No.
No,
Anyway,
but you use a vice to hold something down. You're drilling a hole in.
Yeah.
Okay, the creators of this TV show first met at Metro Golden Mayer MGM Studios in 1937.
37.
Let me ask you, farmers, if I didn't have painting there, would you have got it any sooner?
The painting really threw me off.
Well, was it meant to? Okay, next. We're still talking about last question, and I'm not. The opening and closing credits theme during the first two seasons was called "Rise and Shine." I doubt anyone will get it yet. Be surprised, though. I can be surprised. Okay.
No, this TV show's too old.
No, you would have heard about this one. This sitcom followed the life of a, for the time, modern family.
37. It wasn't.
Not I Love Lucy.
No, I'm thinking of the other guy.
Okay. The creators were honest about their inspiration, saying, at that time, The Honeymooners was the most popular show
Yeah,
on
that's
the
what
air.
I was going to say.
So it's not The Honeymooners.
Ah.
It's very much like The Honeymooners. Oh, yes, Alan's already got it. Alan's doing well tonight.
7.
The show included comical fantastical vehicles and household items. Not Leave It to Beaver. Okay. I thought someone might have picked it up. Someone else might. Sort of. Not that answer, Paul, but I think you're on the right track. Try another one.
Well, it wasn't that one.
Farmer looks dejected, apparently. No, not that one.
It's too early for that
was.
one.
I'll give you the same clue as I gave Paul. Since you gave the same answer.
Oh, we're going back. Oh, right, we're going back. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so that should give it away.
Won't even bother typing.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, what's the song of the Simpsons? The Flintstones, Modern Stone Age Family.
I know.
Yeah, the modern Stone Age family.
Yeah. So
Thank God
for the
help us,
time-
they tried to do a film of it.
Well, they've done two, believe it or not.
And they're fucking awful.
The second one was worse. The first one
Yeah,
was,
just when you think it couldn't get any worse, they did another one. Yeah,
they used different people because the first people didn't want to come back.
I'm not surprised.
Okay, who was first out? Then looks like Nerd Alert.
Yeah, Nerd Alert. Yeah.
Followed by Judy, very close. Okay, and very much. Moving on, question 9.
Yep. Can somebody fix up?
I may have given it away.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, go away. No, I don't want that one. I want that one.
Okay, that's a shame. Okay, I'm looking for an artist, and I've just given you the last clue.
You have.
So, who's first? I tested that. Yep, Paul's got it first.
I can't read the question now.
I was looking for an artist, and my last clue was that picture.
Well, that didn't help.
So, he's known for his mathematical paintings and drawings, and impossible pictures. And
Yeah.
MC Escher is correct. And Paul got first this time, beating out Alan.
Oh.
Okay.
Who was it?
Sorry about that. I did test
Escher.
that, but
It was
something must have
Escher.
happened after.
Never heard of him.
Escher.
You've never heard of MC Escher?
No.
He's really famous for those types of drawings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know the Impossible Cube? You would have seen the Impossible Cube, you know, where you look at it and one of the beams comes.
What about the
corners
steps?
go the wrong way.
What about the steps?
There's this.
Well, they're
There's-
also impossible, so
There's like a square arrangement of steps that look
Yeah,
like they're going
there's
up
that
all
one.
the time, and
What
it's got
about-
and there's the water flowing down. Is that on the same one or is that a different one?
yeah, that's another. There is another one with the watermill where the water's going down a waterfall, and then you follow the path, and it ends up back at the top of the
That's
waterfall.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's also famous for the two hands drawing each other. He did that one.
Oh yeah.
Then he
yeah,
did a
yeah.
series of interconnected shapes that form, you know, the one shape that can be connected together, and they look like a bird or whatever, a fish, and they connect into it. So yeah.
As
And some of the go on.
I was just going to say, as Nerd Alert says, MC Escher invented perspective before the
Flash
did.
did.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Moving on to question 9. Okay, this time I'm looking for a song.
Is it by Fleetwood Mac?
No.
Oh. I know somebody's going to be
No,
wrong out
me.
there. Then.
1745, the Gentleman's Magazine published the early version of the lyrics for this song.
Ah, so it's not a small species of furry animals grooving in a cave with a pict.
No.
Absolute classic Pink Floyd track, that is, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Careful with that axe, Eugene.
A version of this song have been composed by Beethoven, Bach, Haydn, and Strauss, and many others.
God.
Even some more recent ones. Okay. No, it wasn't for His Jolly Good Fellow. Star Spangled Banner, no. Okay. Who's Davini, by the way? I just realized Terry had an answer of Davini. For the
No,
last question. Okay. The Latin version of the lyrics. And I will attempt to pronounce them, but they should give out Odema optime salvelim nono factactor regina nostrum. Sidla toda victoria, cum et gloria, alam falaco ti dominium.
That's got to be a couple of quid in the swear jar, isn't it?
No correct answers.
Need taken fund and illegitimate.
Not
Same
nice
to you.
Desire, not happy birthday.
My really bad
Okay.
spelling.
So profundum variat.
Okay, there's a big clue. The main lyrics changed in 1952 and also recently this year.
Oh.
See if that gives it away to anybody.
Anyone
Yes,
speak Latin?
Alan. Well, what would you call that song, Alan? Yes, correct answer. Yes, very British song. It is God Save Who?
God save the Queen and the fascist regime.
No, no, that's not the correct answer. That's the correct answer. Oh shit, that's not it either.
God save
I still mucked it up.
National
God save Jing?
I'm trying to get it right.
God save the gin.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
Yeah, King. There you go. God save the King.
Yeah, it's changed this year. Of course it was changed this year. God save the King now, not God save the Queen, is it?
Yeah.
We've gone back to pre-52 lyrics.
Yeah. There you go. So the question 10. So there's your quiz for the night.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I tried to keep.
Oh, did I miss the quiz? Yay! I mean, oh dear. I missed
dear.
the quiz. Oh, no. I missed the quiz.
I can go back
so
and I
sad.
can do some of them again for you if you want.
I've just realised the time. I've got to go and do something. But back in about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the current American national anthem goes back to about the same time period.
Yes. Similar. When was the Revolutionary War?
1770s.
Yeah. Well, the lyrics
last
for this
Tuesday.
God Save the Queen was before that. Were well before that. So
It was on a Tuesday, whatever it was.
It has got to be one of the most depressing national anthems you ever did hear.
It is, definitely. That's why we need to change it again.
Billy Connolly had the right idea. He said they should actually do a national anthem to the Archers theme.
No.
Much jollier than.
Yeah, it is really
best
boring,
thing I've heard. The best thing I've heard for our national anthem is for it to be done to "Working Class Man" by. It really changes the song.
Oh, who did Working Class Man? That's
No, I think Australia the Beauty was all right. Most people's national anthems are not bad, actually. They're all right, actually, but ours is just really boring.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Barnes, that was it.
Jimmy Barnes, yes.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. It's like, yeah, when I watch sort of MotoGP and Formula and that sort of thing, and then the winner stands up and the national anthem plays, and on the odd occasion these days where you hear the British one, it's like, my God, that's depressing. It's so boring. They're all just standing. Yeah, and all the others all seem to be a bit more uplifting, and and then ours comes on, and oh God, it's depressing. It really is.
Put this link in the
What's our national
chat.
anthem, Farmer?
Australia, the beautiful. It's beautiful.
No.
It is. It's beautiful.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you what it is.
Not actually.
Isn't it? I thought it was Australia the beautiful. Is it not?
Listen
There's
to
been
that,
an Australian
listen to that
stand on the
link.
podium for quite a while, so I couldn't tell you.
I think our national anthem should be what's it called? England's green and pleasant land. I think that's what that should be. But yeah, that would be kind of like wouldn't include the rest of the UK though, would it? That's the
Oh,
problem.
did these feet in ancient times walk upon England's lower class?
That's the one. I think it should be that. I think I really love that. I really do. I like that.
That was the one they did on Spitting Image.
Yeah.
How about
As
Swing
a-
Low, Sweet Chariot that we keep singing at the rugby? That'd be quite cool.
Advance Australia.
Advanced Australia.
Anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, that's our actual song. But this, if you follow that link, it's the best version, I think, of our song.
Oh, that's right. It's called Jerusalem, isn't it? Green and Pleasant Lands.
That's
Actually
it.
called Jerusalem.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Jerusalem.
that's the correct name for it.
Okay.
I could play that on my trumpet, you know.
No, it's too biblical. Sod that.
Why? What do you mean it's too biblical? Was the lyrics too biblical?
Well, Jerusalem, the holy Lamb of God. Really?
Yeah, well, okay. Well, you're saying God save the Queen. I mean, you know.
I don't sing it. Load of rubbish. I mean, God
know
save
you
the
don't.
Queen. Which God?
Yeah.
The Great Cthulhu. Holy Horns.
I think it's technically the unofficial anthem. I don't think there's actually official anthem.
Great Green Arkle Seizure. Now, that's a God I could get behind.
Did anyone watch Weiskopf Sexton Challenge analysis from Toons? They seen that yet?
I didn't watch it all the way
Yes,
through.
I did watch. I had that going running in the background this morning. No, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It's politics.
Toon had some problems with guests last night, didn't he? Like,
Well, they can't
Yeah.
tech, can they?
Not
I
sure.
mean, he doesn't know
one
how
not
to-
turning up.
Yeah, well, what didn't one of them take ages to arrive because he couldn't click on a link?
Yeah,
Poe.
couldn't click on the Zoom link.
Yeah,
And then
And then
turned
the
out
other
to
one
be a
did-
Poe.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't watch all of that because I saw the title. Did he? What was? How did he expose him to be a Poe? Then I mean, I didn't get to that.
Oh,
Oh,
he's just
You're
the
in
one that
Syria.
got.
Yeah.
He said he had a few clues beforehand, but then when he started to spouse ridiculous flat earth stuff like the guys in a fishing boat in the t-shirt and shorts, were right next to the wall. No
Oh
flat
yeah,
earthers.
yeah, that one. Yeah.
Real
Oh,
flat
that
earth-
bit
no
when they're
real flat
going
earthers
across
use that one.
that little bay just off the Australian coast.
Yeah, about 2,000 miles away
well,
from
that's right.
Antarctica.
And they just
Yeah.
happened to stray into an area where the Australian Navy were doing an exercise. It's like, no, you can't come here. Oh, you're stopping us getting to the ice wall. What ice wall?
No.
Yeah, in the Bass Strait.
In the Bass Strait. I mean,
Yes.
you're still basically
No,
in
just-
Australian waters. You know,
Just
what ice
Bass
wall?
Strait. It's not
Yeah.
the Bass Strait. It's just Bass Strait.
No. It is the Ukraine. Not Ukraine, it's the Ukraine. I live in the England. It's just the same, isn't it? Just
And
like you
firstly,
go to an ATM machine. No, you go to an ATM.
And all flirts live in Egypt. You know that?
Because they all
They
live in
Live
denial.
in the denial.
go outside and shoot myself. I won't be long. I'll be back.
That could be worse.
Yes, it could be
You know how you
raining.
You know how you get four elephants into a car?
With
2
difficulty.
in the front, 2 in the back.
I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the next one.
Carefully.
Do you know? Do you know
Carefully.
how you find out there's 8 elephants at church?
I can't remember that one.
There's 2 cars at the front.
That's it.
Mm.
Okay, if we go to that
Okay.
level, so
And it goes on.
what's brown and sticky?
The stick.
A stick?
Stick.
Yeah, that's an old one.
Oh, they all are.
Dad jokes.
What?
Yeah, well, you know.
What is green? Green and brown has 8 legs and will kill you if it fell from out of a tree.
A tree?
No. A billiard table.
Mm.
Okay. What are we up to, Terry?
I'm just getting a couple of videos ready. You've got the mic to yourselves for now.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm getting a cup of tea and I'm hungry.
Yeah.
God,
okay.
it's lunchtime. This
dad jokes.
this clock changing business has thrown me right off.
I know, that's what I keep telling you. You need to end it. Get rid of it, farmers.
No,
It's your
yeah,
responsibility.
Is it mine?
Yeah, just
Right.
tell 'em.
Matt,
We
just
are
tell 'em.
now back on universal time. It's
Thank
our
you.
time. We're on it. That's it.
Yeah, just like leave it there. We're on UTC, so just leave it as UTC. Just leave it as it is forever, permanently.
Yep, I'm all for that. Yeah.
You tell them. You tell them, farmers. It's your responsibility, you know.
Why is it mine?
I don't know. I can't be
Well,
bothered.
You can't be asked, can you?
I can't be asked.
Can't be asked.
Because putting the clock back has just put me out. I just feel tired all the time now. You know, I can't be bothered.
So what did Dad tell Math?
What did Dad tell Matt? What?
Math. M-A-T-H.
all right, okay. I don't know.
Grow up and solve your own problems.
Mm. At what point do I laugh?
I don't know. What did the jumper say? What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies.
Mm. There's not the garage is getting worse, not better.
I can find worse one. Hang on, let's find the worst one. How does the moon cut its hair? Oh, that's a really bad one. Let's eclipse it. I don't get it.
That's a cracker joke. That's not even a dad joke. That doesn't even qualify as a dad joke. That's a cracker joke, and they're the worst jokes.
What did the wall say to the other?
Don't know.
I'll meet you at the corner.
Oh.
Getting back to a positive note.
Takes a second or two just to think about that for a second.
Getting back to a positive note, I did like your live stream the other night. That was good. That was fun. Fun little live stream.
And Jaren says, what's brown and sounds like a bell? I don't know what it is. He hasn't typed the answer yet.
Brown and sounds like a bell. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the delay on this stream is about half an hour, so you've got to wait for the response. Terry's got it deliberately set for about half an hour.
No, it's 20 seconds.
No, half an hour, don't lie. He hasn't figured out how to put the delay to almost nothing. Too scared of it, aren't you, Terry? Dung, he says. What's brown sounds like a bell. Dung. Oh yeah. Dung. Oh.
So what would you call Bambi if she was blind? Or he was blind, sorry.
No idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you call Bambi if the same Bambi if you cut off her legs, his legs.
Still no idea.
Still no idea.
Still no idea. Yeah, that's an old one. What do you call a man floating in the sea with no arms and no legs?
Bob.
Bob. Yeah. Uh-huh.
What do you call a man who can swim the length of a swimming pool with no arms and no legs?
I don't know.
Clever Dick.
Yeah. What do you call a man with 2 raincoats over his arm? Max.
Okay.
Max.
Don't get it.
Hello?
I don't get it.
Max.
I don't get it.
Like if you're not called a raincoat, a Mac, you know, when you got a Mac on? Wearing
Yeah,
a Mac?
but we
No,
don't,
we
get,
don't call them
no,
Macs.
that don't make sense here.
Oh, okay. Right, okay. Well, sometimes we call a raincoat a Mac. Okay, so you got that
Why
now.
would you call a raincoat a Mac?
Because it just is, okay?
That's the style of raincoat.
Yeah. Thanks, Alan.
Also very commonly known as a flasher Mac.
Yeah, that as well.
That's a raincoat.
Right, okay. Well, just understand that.
Next,
bit so I can
next
tell
you'll be telling me you could jacket's something weird, you know?
No, just is,
It's-
okay?
it's-
But hang
Its
on.
correct name is actually a Macintosh.
A Macintosh, exactly. It's
Next
still
you're
called a
going to
Mac.
tell me rubber boots are called Wellingtons or something.
Oh God, you
Yeah,
you Australians always have to overthink things, don't you? You just got to do it.
Just gumboots. Yeah.
Stop
gumboots,
overthinking
yeah.
things. Just accept it. Stop overthinking things.
Well,
okay?
we don't
Because
give
not a
names to weird things, weird names.
Right, so the next part of my joke is, what do you call a man with 2 raincoats over his arm standing next to a grave? Max Bygraves.
Who's that? I don't get it still.
I've heard of Max Rybro.
Alan knows who that is. He just laughed. Max Bygraves.
I don't know if this joke classes as a dirty joke or if it's allowed on my channel or not.
Oh, go on then.
Where does Peter Pan like to eat out?
Wendy's.
Wendy's.
Oh.
Yeah. Ah, dear.
There's a channel that
So-
there's an Australian channel that these people sit across the desk from each other and they try to out joke each other. I'll have to listen to it a bit more.
So you guys are telling me something you call weird for a Parker or something like that, weren't you?
Not weird. It's just called a Macintosh and abbreviated.
I'm always getting told off by Alan when he shows me a picture of places where there's grass and cows in. I say, yeah, that's a paddock.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a field.
Well, see, if it's got cows in a paddock, maybe. But if
So
it's got crops growing in it, it most certainly isn't a paddock.
Right. I mean, if you went to a farmer here in the UK and said, "Go put the cows in the paddock," he'd be like, "What? Eh? Paddock? I don't have a paddock. That's only for horses. What are you on about?"
So explain to me what an anorak is again.
It's a type of coat or It's a raincoat specifically. It's waterproof raincoat.
Just
Or
call it a
Mac-
Parker like everyone else does.
Macintosh. But it's a style. I mean, Parker is another style altogether again.
No.
So,
Parkers have hoods and anoraks don't.
yeah. Well, you could have one with a hood, I guess.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
And you know that running shoes are just running shoes; they're not plimsolls.
I'd mentioned nothing about plimsolls.
Neither did I.
Except unless you were a 70s child, in which case for PE you had to put on plimsolls. Yeah.
Yep. Or if you were in the armed forces, in my period, and you had to wear them then as well, and
Yeah.
they're really bad for your feet,
Yeah.
and they're really bad for your back as well.
Yeah.
When
It's got
you
no
fall
supports in
over
them at all.
and you're running like F, and you're carrying somebody on your shoulders in a fireman's carry,
I never had to do that.
because because the guy who is 6 foot, the same as you are, lands across the small of your back and buggers up your discs.
Is that what happened to you?
Yes.
Hmm.
I just found one on the internet I hadn't heard before. You guys can tell me if it's true or not. Keks.
Keks, yeah, they're at a quote. What's the word?
Underpants.
Yeah,
Undergarment.
they're so a colloquialism. Is that what?
Yeah.
What would
Colloquialism, yes.
Colloquialism.
Yeah.
That's it for underwear. Yeah.
Keks, shreddies.
Yeah, keks, shreddies.
And we just call
Never
them
heard of that
undies.
term before.
Undies, is
Undies,
easier.
yeah.
Undies is easier.
If you said undies here in the UK, they would know what you're talking about. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
but
could
they
say
said
that.
if somebody said pull your keks up.
Yeah, some people might know what that is. Others wouldn't. Or or here in Northern Ireland, they call them bags as well. Drop your bags. Drop your undies, in other words, or your trousers.
That one.
Yeah. Well, bags is kind of like both your trousers and your undies. Drop them. So drop your bags. In other words, pull your trousers and pants down. Eggs.
Could be worse.
Seem to have a difficulty with words today.
Yeah, what was that word the other? What was that word the other day? You couldn't.
I don't know. What was it?
Asteroids.
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 Yeah, asteroids.
Well, that was more. It wasn't really a problem with the word. It was more of a slip of the tongue. That came out. I was saying asteroids, but I came out asteroids for some reason. It's like my tongue got kind of twisted. Tongue didn't want to work. When all lazy, went.
How you going, Terry?
I'm going pretty good. How you going?
Good, thanks. Did we fill in enough time for you, mate?
Yeah.
We've done enough talk a load of crap, don't we? Filling the time. Absolute nonsense. Oh God, what's this?
Oh, you can talk about as much crap
takes
as you
Terry
want.
time to tick.
I don't know which one that is. Can't see.
It's Terry's tick time.
Number 12.
That's the latest one.
Is that the last one?
Oh, I can't even remember. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's just the yeah. That's
I just thought we don't need sound.
Did you tell them to redo it because they mucked it up?
Yeah, because they didn't land at the same time. I saw your comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, they kind of did because they separated exactly the same time, but because of the angle they were at, but also I should say inclination from the pads.
I'll let people be the judge if it's in your video.
You've not got a volume. You can put the volume on, you know.
While you talking?
No.
We can see those grid fins
But you can
steering
hear
the
the rocket.
boosters for a
no
precise
music.
landing. Again, we're attempting
Booster
landing. Landing zone 1 and 2. There we just heard sonic booms. And there you have it. As indicated by the enormous cheers, we have successfully landed both Falcon Heavyside.
There you go.
Much more interesting the whole trip, I got to admit.
Mm.
But it was still good to watch it on live. So
Yeah.
when's your next live?
I mean, if you look
rocket
back
launch?
to Falcon 9 when it first started, you know, when it first started landing, it would land somewhere within the landing pad or somewhere in the pad of the barge and stuff like that. But now it's kind of like pretty much bang on the center now. Almost
And it
every
was
each
cutting
time.
out too, wasn't it, at times? That last bit?
Yeah, but they still do, especially the ones in the barge, because you know the disturbance of the cameras when it's coming into land. I mean, you've got a lot going on when one of those things comes in. Not so much now. I think they've managed to protect the cameras a little bit more, but it still does occasionally.
I think the biggest problem with the cameras cutting out on the barge is the barge moving and breaking the uplink to the satellite.
Yeah.
It's a loss of signal because because you see, the water's nice and calm, the barge isn't really moving, and there's this bloody rocket coming down, and that's done to give it a bit of a wobble, just enough to
Did
break
Doug
the signal.
cover that other part of the ship?
No, the core stage. No, they didn't recover that. That wasn't recoverable this time. They just
No, it was the part of not the core.
the fairing.
It was another part.
Oh,
Fairing,
the fairing.
that's the
The
word.
fairing. Yeah. They don't usually show that now. They just
No,
they
I was
used
just
to-
wondered if they found it.
They used to have I think I don't know. I haven't heard, but they used to have a barge where they used to try and catch it in a parachute. But it became problematic, so they gave up doing that. So they just recovered from the sea as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Yeah, had a
I
bloody
like how
great
they
big
called
catch net, didn't it?
Yeah, it was really good. I actually got one of those videos actually on my channel somewhere, and it was doing it at night time. It was all lit up. It looks really spectacular. But yeah, they don't do that anymore.
Biggest Mars impacts heard by Insight. It was a Scott Manley video.
Not Manley.
What else is there? I mean, I've got a few lined up. I'll just go back through them again and just see if there's anything else. Logic. He believes in God because there's no evidence.
Right.
What?
Well, that's the title. It's Logic one.
He believes in God because there's no
evidence.
No
evidence
against it. Well, it's kind of like, well, it's up to you to prove it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
He will say there's a God. Well, prove it.
Can I have burden of proof for 200, please?
Yeah.
And Flight the Flat Earth did one. How long ago was that one? 33 equals Flat Earth.
I think that's an old repeat. I haven't actually watched it. But Fighter's been putting up a lot of old videos.
Oh, redoing.
Yeah,
watch a new one and then.
Global Mum's been going through and sort of re-editing and editing out these sort of older ones that Fight did.
Yeah. So you think you're going to see something new and then say, oh,
no, it's not.
Oh, I've seen that.
I remember this one.
Yeah. Brings back memories.
Oh. I was working on a Toon video as a result of my poll. Toon was the one that came out number one.
Mm-hmm.
And going back some of the old ones, Toon was very young when he started compared to what he looks like now.
Do you want to see the
It's
sun?
only been 4 years.
Oh, it's mirrored. The sun 4K mirrored. That's someone, I don't know who did that. I'll have a look at the description. I think that's all. That's Simon. That's M2M Supernova. Edward Anderson. That's it for there. I don't know, this is a Mr. 42 shared this.
Oh, the face of Vogue.
Yeah, it's just it just shows this really. That's all. That's what it shows. But
that's really
nice
well that's really well filtered to get that image, isn't it?
Oh, of course it is. Yeah.
Alan could explain all the filtering to get that image.
I suspect though that wasn't from a telescope on Earth though. I suspect that was from a satellite. I would suggest.
I'm pretty sure it's on a satellite.
Yeah.
And I think it's in something like UV.
And then recolored.
Yeah. Well, obviously, because you can't
yeah,
see UV.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry. Make it stating the obvious. Yeah. But it's still nice to look at though.
Yeah. How many more billions and billions of years will it still keep going?
Well, about halfway through, they think the cycle. They reckon another 5.5 billion, something like
that. And then it'll expand.
Nothing that we need to worry about.
And then it'll expand or something when it's right at the end.
Yes.
And maybe engulf all the planets around it.
Sure, the last time I saw something on that, it'll come out. Will it come out as far as Mars? I mean, it'll certainly take the first three. But I think it's safe to say that
we'll be safe in Mars.
Well, by then we either, as a species, won't exist anymore, or we'll have buggered off somewhere else.
Yeah, most likely.
Because before it gets to the point where the sun starts to expand, I mean, Earth will be buggered anyway. So,
I mean, by the time it gets to say for it's going to last another 5.5 billion years. I mean, it probably when it gets to about, I don't know, maybe 5 billion years, it's going to start getting pretty difficult to live on Earth anyway. Probably, it will start getting a bit hot.
Do you want me to start packing me bags now, just in case?
Yeah, you might as well start now. Yeah,
yeah, because we all hear how long it takes you to get ready to do anything. So might take 5 billion years.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know. Well, don't ask a woman to get ready for that then.
Well, I won't play me stream for when that happens. Yeah.
No, you might want to think about. Well, we could move to another galaxy somewhere. Well, I don't know. No, another part of the galaxy.
Flat Earth doesn't need any model.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
Oh, a bit of Everett.
Why doesn't a Flat Earth need any model?
Because it can't be modelled.
Well, that's the obvious.
Oh, but we don't live in a model.
No, but nobody says we do.
No, we don't. I know. Terry.
Oh, sorry. I was just reading Timbo's comment out there. He
Yeah.
says he hated facial hair, but then it grew on me.
No. Tish. Anyway, Terry.
Oh, hi, Matt. How you going?
No, you don't have to keep saying that. How you going? I was the same as I was the last time you asked me. I haven't changed.
Oh, you never know. You never know.
Could you press play, please, Terry?
Yes, I could do that.
Alright, so I'm constantly hearing things about satellites orbiting the planet and how else would we get communication and blah, blah, blah.
Look how they mess with my boy.
Well, it's very simple, alright? 90+% of our communication is done through underwater sea cables and cell towers. Okay, it's a ground positioning system, not global positioning system.
Maybe in the next life.
Other technologies such as HAIL, which are high altitude, long endurance planes, are how we reach hard to reach areas for certain communication that the basic cell towers and cables cannot reach.
Oh, you can smell the shit from 5 miles away.
Another thing I'm constantly hearing is, if the Earth was flat, where's the edge? How would there be circumnavigation on a level plane?
Please, accept the mystery.
What would only be possible on a ball is north-south circumnavigation, which has never been done. Never.
I've got some bad news.
If you go around a pond, okay, you've circumnavigated the pond. It doesn't make the pond a ball, okay? It's not. That's not how it works.
You know, I am very, very worried about you.
Why?
You're acting like what?
What am I acting like? All right, next thing, man. Eclipses. I keep seeing that eclipses can only happen on a ball, and there's no other way. It's they only happen when the Earth is in between the sun and the moon in a perfect syzygy.
What?
In a perfect syzygy.
So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
That doesn't even make sense, okay? Second off, what about a Seleninian eclipse?
A what?
Seleninian eclipse.
Nice, very nice.
Where both the sun and moon are both above the horizon, okay? It takes the Earth completely out of the equation, all right? Doesn't make any sense.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
All right, so I wanted to touch on this whole geocentrism awakening this flat Earth movement. Okay.
A great idea.
I keep hearing, flat earthers don't even have a model. They don't even know what their model is. They can't even make their mind up on a model.
I think you're right.
There's no model, my man, okay?
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
The entire movement is
said?
about proving, through science, observable, testable, repeatable, measurable science,
I'm so grateful for science.
What
that
science?
we are not
I don't do science.
a spinning ball in a vacuum.
Oh, nice.
That's it. There's no model. We're not at that point, You guys have to get off that.
Ready, jump.
It's taking it real hard.
Well, you get off then. You get off right here. Jump. Go on.
Jump.
Yeah, we said we need to get off, so
Okay.
suggested he gets off.
You're not saying anything, Farmer.
No, because he's eating.
He's frozen.
Bugger, these things take some eating. Fuck my teeth now.
I could do with a cup of tea, actually.
Yeah, 2 sugars and milk, thanks, Matt.
All right, I'll put the kettle on. Yeah. Bickies as well. There's some bickies.
Oh, what sort of biggies do you got?
I don't.
I think I might have some ginger nuts and some custard creams left.
Ooh. I did have some pork pie.
Ooh, with some mustard. Hey.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Very nice it was too. I thought bit of pork pie. I thought, hello, I've still got some mustard in the cupboard somewhere.
Every time I go to the
I'll
deli,
have that.
they've only got a choice of 1 or 2 pork pies left in the counter.
Yeah. If there's no ketchup for my pork pie, I do like a bit of mustard, I must admit.
I don't know if I put tomato
English
sauce on a
mustard.
pork pie.
Oh no.
Yeah,
no.
I do. I do.
Nah, applesauce maybe.
No.
Applesauce is nice too, yeah.
There was pork.
Just-
You could put
just
some
a-
sort of cranberries or sauce. Yeah, something.
No, listen. I'll have my pork pies anywhere I want my pork pies. It's a free country.
Oh.
If a man wants to ketchup with his pork pie, I'll have it.
I like the cranberries. They were a good group, but I can't stand cranberry sauce. That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's bitter and cranberry sauce is bitter as hell.
No, I can't. But can I just point out that he did syzygy. Syzygy is a proper real word.
Is a word.
And he was using it in the right context. It is an alignment of 3
Syzygy?
celestial objects. Yes, syzygy.
Oh,
SYZYGY.
So he did say it
It's a
right.
real word. Yes, he did, and he used it in the right context. So we get a syzygy every time there's a full moon or a new moon,
Oh, okay.
and
That's us told then.
it's an alignment of 3 celestial objects like the sun, the earth, and
Celestial.
either the moon or a planet, but
Yeah.
it's generally the moon. Yeah, it is one of those words. You hear it and you think, "What did you stutter?" Syzygy. But no, it is a.
Well,
It's pucker.
you have to forgive us though. He is a flurf. So
Well, I know.
Well, he's the reason why it didn't work was so stupid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, they're up in the
Of
sky.
course.
They can't align.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
first section,
and that can never happen with David Weiss's stupid clock.
Yeah.
Because on according to his stupid clock, the moon and the sun are completely opposite each other all the time, 365 days a year.
What you mean? His clock that's based on the globe Earth.
Yeah.
And when you want to see who's actually signed up to it, it shows you on Google Earth. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, his clock isn't, so you done bloody work.
Nah. No.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to show you where the sun and the moon is at any given time, at any given type one. And
And of course-
I downloaded
strong,
it.
yeah.
I downloaded it and paid £1.99 for it, which kind of regret really because I just wanted to see if it worked. And of course, it didn't because I tried it a few times and the moon wasn't where it's supposed to be and all kinds of stuff.
I think if you're going to fake that, you'd at least get it right. So at least show it up in the right place. You reverse engineer it. So
Yeah, the only thing that people use it for now because it's got a bit where you can meet other flat earthers, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah, and it plots them on the Google Earth, which is quite hilarious.
but apparently the security is so bad you shouldn't use it because it's gonna.
That flaw's been fixed now. Once
has it? Okay.
Once Mr. 42 brought it to his attention, then they all accused him of hacking it, and he said, "No, I'm pointing out how it can be bloody hacked, you idiots."
I'm pointing out you left this gaping hole in it where you just look and it's there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if Mr. 42 wasn't hacking anything, it's just kind of anything that anybody could do at any time with any common sense. That's all he was doing.
It's like that US state governor that accused that journalist of hacking a state website for I think it was school teachers that exposed their social security numbers.
Yeah.
No, all he did was inspect page.
Yeah, well, that's what Mr. 42
And
did.
there
I
it
think,
was.
as well,
Yeah,
didn't he?
inspect page.
There
There it was.
Yeah. Oh, you're a hacker. No. Something anybody could do. Anyway, Terry.
Yes, Matt.
Oh, thank God you didn't say it again. Press play, please. Calm down. Press play, Terry.
Okay. I hate the music.
What if the world was nothing like you think it is? Seek the truth.
What?
The earth is flat.
You bunch of losers!
Compelling evidence of this is the measurement of 100 miles at the horizon having a drop of 660 feet.
Whoopsie daisy!
This would be so, and we would be able to observe this with scientific instruments and calculate the actual curvature across the horizon.
I was just going to say that.
But it's quite evident, even with just using the eyes,
That's science.
that this curvature, which is supposed to occur for the globe, doesn't occur.
What? I don't believe this. I don't fucking believe this. I'm ruined.
So it's flat plain with mountains and valleys in it.
Nice fucking model.
We're going to the moon, and Elon Musk is going to take us to Mars.
What the heck?
Fuck is wrong with you?
But why did it take them so long to try and go back to the moon again? 50 years?
Television is the explanation for this. You see this in bad television.
This world could be so much better than it is. We're psychologically conditioned to think we're getting the best when we're not. We need a new Tartaria.
High foot. Hey, all right.
Really?
We live in a holographic universe.
Things are looking up.
No, we
Where's the
don't.
projector then?
Were dinosaurs ever real?
Yes.
Run.
They were.
Towards the shed.
Clever girl.
There
He's
has
gonna
been
say
much
they're human.
evidence that
Spit it out.
Okay, I'm waiting for the punchline.
There's no punchline.
human bones were reformed to create the illusion of dinosaur bones.
Stupid! Oh, yes.
You're so stupid!
Carbon dated to the same period that these were actually giant human bones.
The only limitation is my
Really?
imagination.
There's archaeological digs
Oh,
and photo evidence being covered up.
You don't need proof when you have instinct.
The Secret Services come in and take away the evidence of
The
these
Secret
uncovered
Service.
giant being humans.
Can't believe so much bad
In
shit can
China,
happen on
even.
such a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch out for the Secret Service.
If
now,
you can't,
is he reciting that from his own memory, or is he badly reading a script that you can't see?
Yes.
He can see it in his glasses.
I weren't looking that closely.
if you can't, if you suffer badly from insomnia, just go and listen to him for 10 minutes.
We need a new Tartaria. But I
Yeah.
bet he doesn't know where Tartaria, because it was an actual region. I bet he doesn't know where it was.
I mean, he literally to read out the word archaeological, he literally took each syllable and took a minute or so to actually do each syllable. Archaeological.
What, you mean archaeology? Yeah, archaeological. Good job it wasn't paleontology. That'd have really stumped him. Blimey. Oh, hang on. He was talking about paleontology, but he couldn't manage that word, so.
No. So instead, he took half an hour to say archaeological.
But human bones are reformed into dinosaur bones, some of which, if you stood upright, wouldn't fit in this room.
Somehow they've morphed into from human bones into these big giant dinosaur bones somehow.
Sorry, I just realised I couldn't do more for Chaz.
Come on, some of them were just giant terror chickens.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, there would have been terror chickens. Had blimey. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what,
like 3 meters tall. Yeah.
I tell you what, though. I mean, I've actually a friend of mine used to keep chickens, and she had various species. And all I can tell you is they are very small dinosaurs. They're horrendous things. Honestly.
Yeah, we used to have chickens on the farm. Yeah.
And they got claws the size of freaking dinosaurs. Horrible. They
Are
do
you sure
exist.
she kept chickens and she didn't keep velociraptors?
I think, well, yeah, I begin to think maybe they were.
Because velociraptors aren't the ones you see in the films. Velociraptors were quite small. But yeah, still had nasty claws on them.
Yeah, well, these ones did. She had.
They just sounded catchier than saying, oh, look, it's a Deinonychus. No, velociraptor sounds better. Not that I'm a dinosaur nerd or anything. You understand.
Not another nerd thing that had to your collection of nerd things, farmers.
Mate, the list is long and endless.
No, geek. It's geek. It's not nerd. It's geek.
Right,
Geek is okay. You can be a geek. It's all right.
All those books are on a different bookshelf. They're not in here.
No,
geek
just
nerd
geek.
or a nerd
Geek is okay. You've heard of geek chic. That's fine. It's the in thing now. You can be a geek.
You can be a nerd too. It's right. Nerds are fine around here.
Oh, okay. You be a nerd then. I'll be a geek.
Can I be both?
Yeah, you could be a geeky nerd if you want.
Okay, cool.
Doesn't matter. When our age as well, it's just like you've lost all street cred left anyway. So what's the point?
Yeah, who gives a bugger?
Like, nobody cares. Oh, bit of Anton.
We've got extremely dangerous X-ray supernova explained in a new study.
It's like a weather report.
Why is Hamari I can't even pronounce that.
Oh, I can't
Amia?
Amia. So strange compared to other objects.
Okay.
New study explains.
That might be a planet. I'd say that's a planet.
Any other? Oh yes, I've seen this one. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange shaped object.
Okay, we might have
this one.
I like space stuff. And
most extreme black hole collision ever seen produced.
Ever seen produced very exotic effects.
Yeah, what about that one?
Yeah, I think that one.
Or the X-ray supernova sounds kind of interesting.
Oh, I like this one.
All right, only because I've seen it. That's why I was avoiding it.
Oh, because you've seen it. That's why we're watching it.
Yeah, it's not really a planet. Well, oh, no, I'm just going to give stuff away, so I'll just let him explain.
Right, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Well, it says objects to other objects. Why is it so strange compared to other objects?
Yeah, it doesn't say other
Just
planets.
Just ignore what Matt said, anyway.
Well, it says it in the title anyway. Gives it away. It doesn't say planet, does it?
Well, as per usual.
Yeah. It's funny that. Oh, read the title. Oh, yeah.
But we already do.
Terry?
Sorry, I was ignoring you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I won't say it then.
Terry, press play.
Yeah. It makes it so hard.
Hello wonderful person, this is Anton. Today we're going to be talking about, well, this right here. The strangest, or one of the strangest, objects in the solar system. The object known as Haumea.
What's that? You're going to say it in an
It's
Anthony
an egg.
Riley. This is an egg.
This is an
This
egg.
is an egg.
Yeah, there we
To
go.
an experiment.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah. And this is actually what we believe it really looks like, and how it spins. With a slightly more accurate representation of this being right here. This is the colored version. Mostly because the scientists believe that it has a dark patch on the surface, very likely produced by various types of organic molecules turning dark over time. This is actually known as the tholins, and we've discussed this in one of the older videos that should be in the description. But that's not really the main purpose of the video. The main purpose of the video is the new study that potentially discovers how this strange object was actually created.
Material.
Because up until recently, it was actually almost impossible to explain how exactly such an unusual and such a peculiar object was created so far away from the sun. But I guess first let me describe exactly what we're looking at here. This egg-shaped object that spins every 4 hours, that has 2 moons and ring-like formations around it, is technically something we refer to as Cubibano. More officially known as the classical Kuiper Belt object. Something that orbits beyond planet Neptune, and something that generally has a relatively circular orbit, but is not really controlled by Neptune at all. It's basically its own thing, but it's usually something much smaller than a typical planet. The object known as Arrokoth that New Horizons took a picture of is one of the better known examples here. Although, wait, I just made a mistake. Okay, Haumea is not a Cubibano anymore. It was officially discovered to have a slight resonance with Neptune, which make its orbit form these very beautiful vibrating shapes because of its relationship with Neptune as it orbits around the sun. So I guess I made a mistake right in the beginning of the video, although technically this was on purpose. I actually just wanted to talk about Cubibanos and what exactly they represent. Anyway, of all of the objects out there, past the orbit of Neptune, and actually even within the orbit of Neptune, Haumea is still just really strange. Here are the actual images of this object and its moons, taken by the Hubble telescope over several days back in 2008. So because of its somewhat spherical shape, this is technically a dwarf planet. But because of its very high spin, it's a dwarf planet that assumed a very strange egg-like shape. A single rotation here is approximately 4 hours long, and this is by far the fastest spinning object we have of this size in the solar system. Something that really surprised the scientists when they originally discovered this back in 2003, with the object confirmed a few years later. But one of the reasons it has the rounded shape, and also one of the reasons it even possesses all of these unusual properties on the surface, is also because it's very water rich, being made almost entirely out of various types of ices, including water. And it also has 2 moons. One of them, Namaka, that's approximately 170 kilometers across, and one of them, Hi'iaka, approximately 310 kilometers across. So quite large moons as well. Although obviously much smaller than Haumea, that's roughly around 2300 kilometers across. Here's sort of how it would compare to planet Earth, and to objects like Pluto, Eris, and some of the other dwarf planets we've discovered so far. But as this image shows us, it does look extremely different from everything else. Almost like a completely alien object that just doesn't belong in this picture. and so the mystery of its origin has been bugging the scientists for a couple of decades. But there was a proposition and an explanation from back in the days that involved some of the other objects discovered in this region. Several other objects have been discovered to have very similar orbits to Haumea, and are now classified as being in the Haumea family. But it just happens to be the largest object in the family. And although most of them seem to possess very similar ice-like properties on the surface, and obviously have very similar orbits, as a matter of fact, this seems to be the only family of asteroids known to us that's definitively part of the same family located in the Kuiper's belt. Most other ones are usually much closer to us in the solar system. All of this, of course, suggested that they probably all came from one single object. One large massive collision that very likely happened billions of years ago that created all of this. But a collision generally produces something like this, a typical asteroid shape that we've detected many times before, with the other family members not really being particularly unusual either. So why exactly is Haumea like this? What happened to it to make it so strange and so extremely unusual compared to anything else we have in the solar system? Haumea, why you be like this? Well, by being able to explain what happened here, we might actually be able to understand what happened in the early solar system, because this kind of helps us understand how these various objects were formed and what all of these collisions led to. There are still so many mysteries we don't really understand about the solar system, including of course the creation of our own moon from another collision that happened a long time ago. Well, without physically visiting this object, it's actually kind of difficult to answer these questions, but it's possible by trying to conduct various computer simulations and then essentially matching what we find with what we actually observe. And since this is such a weird object, if the computer is able to create something very similar to this, it's most likely to be the actual answer. And that's what the scientists behind this paper did, with the results actually being extremely interesting. The paper, Let It Go, Geophysically Driven Injection of the Haumea family members. I mean, the title kind of spoils it a little bit, but there were some really surprising discoveries as well. And so in this case, by using the size, the mass, the rotation speed, the overall density, the scientists used the mathematical equations to essentially calculate what would produce this. Since many of these objects also experience collisions, which of these simulations and collisions would actually produce something as unusual as Haumea? With the most likely explanation being this. Two objects that were relatively similar in size and composition colliding almost head-on to produce an object that was spinning very fast. So fast, as a matter of fact, that the core inside the object started to differentiate and produce various layers. Now, because of this differentiation, the inside of Haumea is very likely a lot more dense and much more rocky. Which is pretty much exactly what the scientists have been discovering as well. It does seem to have more density on the inside. But the surface was almost entirely ice. And so because now we had a lot of mass on the inside and not so much mass on the outside due to density differences, the object would actually spin even faster and faster as the differentiation happened. Basically it decreases the moment of inertia, and so the rotation accelerated, the shape changed even more and more ices appeared on the surface. And this resulted in a separation of really large chunks, large enough to become their own objects. As a matter of fact, the scientists think that all of these objects were created in this way. They were thrown off the surface and eventually acquired their own orbits as they moved away from Haumea itself. But because of the rocky internal structure of Haumea, it also very likely possessed a lot of isotopes similar to planet Earth and obviously similar to all of the other rocky objects in the solar system. This very likely resulted in the heat on the inside. And that heat might have actually resulted in some kind of a liquid ocean on the inside that might have existed there for hundreds of millions of years, maybe even a few billion years. Very similar to the oceans we believe exist on objects like Europa, Titan, Ganymede, and so on. But with time, all of this mixed with the rocks on the inside and very likely just hydrated the core, creating a kind of a clay-like formation on the inside. In other words, instead of still having differentiated liquid ocean and rocky internal structure, it's a lot more likely that the water mixed with the rock, making it a little bit less dense, which would eventually slow down the rotation of Haumea to its current rate. Which is also essentially why it didn't just fall apart eventually as it spun faster and faster. It lost all of these objects and produced its two moons as a result, including of course the rings that it has, but after this the core very likely became a little bit less dense and the rotation slowed down. Although obviously the most interesting part of this research is really the fact that it seems that this object had a liquid ocean for at least 200 million years or so. And since we already think that objects like Europa might actually have life living in the oceans there, for all we know, maybe life at some point formed here as well. But since now it's probably frozen, it's obviously unknown what's happening there now. but it would still make Haumea a really exciting object to one day potentially visit, maybe even launch some kind of a probe here to land on, and possibly even drill into the surface in order to actually figure out if we can find something underneath. Now the mission itself would be kind of difficult to achieve right now, especially because this object is really far away, but it would definitely be one of the more exciting missions to one of the strangest objects in the solar system. But if in the next 15 years, after the mission to Titan, after the mission to Europa, and also after all of the Martian missions, we still don't really find life anywhere there, well then in this case, life here is probably also quite unlikely. But if we do find life on one of those objects, maybe visiting Haumea sometimes in the future could also be very useful for our understanding of formation of life. But I guess just the fact that this object that's orbiting around the sun every 280 years, and the object where the temperatures are really low had a liquid ocean, is already a pretty exciting discovery, and being able to explain how this formed is even more exciting. Although naturally, unless we actually physically go there and find evidence of all of this in some of the deposits, it's still, for now at least, just a theory. Even the best telescopes cannot really tell us what's happening on the surface here, because as I've showed you, even the best pictures from Hubble barely show us anything here. All of these are just recreations based on our current understanding of how we think dwarf planets look from what we've seen on Pluto and some of the other objects. This is still the best image we have of Haumea, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon. Even the James Webb is not going to be able to take a picture that's going to be much higher in resolution, but it still should. And if it does, I'm going to make sure to follow this up with another video because we might discover something else in the process. Until future discoveries, well, at least for now, maybe check out some of the other videos about Haumea in the description below, or some of the other dwarf planets we've discussed previously. Thank you for watching, subscribe, maybe share this with someone who loves learning about space and sciences, come back tomorrow to learn something else, and maybe support this channel on Patreon by joining channel membership, or by buying the Wonderful Person t-shirt you can find in the description. Stay wonderful, I'll see you tomorrow, and as always, bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh.
Okay, I think I missed a bit. Whereabouts is it in the solar system, and its rotational speed? That was the other one that I.
Isn't it out past Neptune?
Yeah.
Oh, it's up. Yeah, I thought it might have he showed an image of it. I don't think he did. And its rotational speed, I think I misheard that.
Yeah.
How far? Like 200 and something years to go around to orbit, but its actual rotation speed. He said it goes fast.
I think it was rotating about once every 4 hours, he said.
Okay, well that's still pretty fast.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought there might have been an image to do with it, whereabouts it is. I didn't quite see anything there. Oh. And will the James Webb get a better image of it or not? We don't know. It might be too close.
We're keeping you up, farmers.
I think the last 2 days have caught up with me. I tell you what, driving back from Swansea yesterday, I was on the motorway for probably at least an hour, and I'm thinking, well, I got on site yesterday morning, and I was already yawning. I thought, what am I going to be like when I drive home? Worse. I was just thinking, I hope some services turn up soon because I'm going to have to stop and get out of the car. And then I come off the motorway, and that helped me wake up, but I was bloody struggling. Yeah, I mean, it's a 3-hour drive there, a 3-hour drive back. Fortunately, that wasn't all on the same day this time. We'll be in 3 weeks. So I've got to go back in 3 weeks' time, and that'll be a 1-day affair. So that'll be 3 hours there if I'm lucky. 2 or 3 hours on site, maybe, then 3 hours back again.
Hey, look on the bright side. 6 hours from here.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't heard on that Lowestoft one yet. I don't know when that's coming up. I've only had the date for Bourne. That's Monday. That's something else I've got to swat up on. I'm supposed to go and witness all the setup and testing of this machine, and I've never seen one before. So, what do you want us to go? But they're paying for it, so yeah, I'll go. Come on. I'm bloody looking at, but I'll go. Problem is, if they're going to roll these out across all the sites, that means all the new ones that we're building now, somebody will have to go back to all them when they install it, because at the moment it's an empty room. And you've got this big old bit of kit that's got to go inside it. I don't see the logic. If you know you're going to have a disposable refund scheme running and you need a machine to handle it all, put it in now whilst you're building the building.
Unless the machines aren't available now.
Well, they must be, because you know they must have fitted it, or they must be doing it now at this site in Bourne, because I'm going on Monday to witness it all being set up and working. So the machines must be available.
Maybe supply chain problems.
I don't know. Yeah, could be. But I mean, I've been to over a dozen in the last 3 months, and they've all got empty DRS rooms. So they've all got to be revisited at some point and have this thing put in.
Don't they ever have a problem with having a building and then they've got a piece of machinery it won't fit through the building, through the doorway?
Well, they've obviously thought of this because this DRS room tends to be near the entrance, and then following on from that room, you'll get the manager's office, the cash office, all the staff, all the back of house staff. Now the corridor along all those rooms is quite wide because the door into the DRS room is wider than a standard door. It's probably about a door and a half in width, and that's just one door. You don't get this one door and a half door. You get big wide doors all the way along. So this bit of kit is going to come in parts through, I would think, the delivery bay at the back of the warehouse, and then you have to bring it all the way through the warehouse, all the way through back of house into this room, and there it's all got to be assembled. Because ultimately, when this thing's working, you're going to have big plastic bins on the side that are going to fill up, presumably with bottles, with tins, plastic containers, and when they're full, you've got to be able to wheel them out and get them outside and bring empty ones back in. But it is going all the way through the length of the building. You sort of look at it and think, you could have done it a bit better than that, but whatever, you know. But they're now, they installed some up in Scotland, and I think the first ones have been installed down in Bristol, maybe only about 2 months ago. And it seems the next batch are all sort of in the periphery of East Anglia, which are the 6 or 7 that I know about. Newark, St Neots, Bourne, Housestead, Lincoln, Lowestoft, Sunny Haverhill, Mablethorpe, and Felixstowe.
I'll finish off with Simon.
We usually do.
Is this man really from the year 36?
I predict no.
I'd second that. I predict no. I know where he's from. He's from bullshit land.
The asylum?
Do they know he's escaped?
Yeah.
Have the nurses done a head count and come up one short? Oh God, he's got.
I think they want to be found because they put YouTube videos out or TikTok things. So they'll find him.
Yeah. Is his padded room next to Lindsay's padded room?
Does he have a whiteboard?
No, I almost daren't say it, but I have, not as an inmate, but as a temporary, a few minutes guest, been in a padded room.
I'd be surprised if they came up with one head short, farmers, because I'm sure his head's not all there.
This is true. Yes, good point. I've also been in a room that had no proper corners. Because apparently, if you give somebody very determined a 90-degree corner, they can wedge themselves in there so tight that it takes 2 or 3 people to get them back out again. So they build them as octagons. I did a lot of work and I will hasten to emphasise this. I did work in several mental institutes and hospitals. Very fascinating places. Yes, I was working there.
Wedging yourself in a 90-degree corner?
Yeah,
Seriously?
Apparently, yes. Apparently,
Oh,
it
dear.
can be a problem that they want to wedge themselves into the corner and they will not come out. And you can't just go up and say, "Look, come on, get yourself out of the corner." You won't be able to move them. It takes 2 or 3 guys to get the person out of a 90-degree corner in a room. And because I said, "Why are these little rooms octagon shaped?" And they said, "That's exactly why. If you make it an octagon, it's not in that tight enough angle for them to wedge themselves in there." And I thought, you get to the point where you just don't question it. You just go, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Because when somebody says, "We want you to redevelop this ward, and here we've already done this one. We'll show you around, but I'll warn you now, there are patients in there." And when you walk past and one guy's very determinedly head banging one of those multi switches on the wall, you know, where you got like 6 or 7 switches, and he's banging his head away, and there's blood running down his face. I'm like, "Why don't you stop him?" He said, "If we pull him away, he'll come back and do it again. So we just leave him to it, let him get it out of his system, and then we patch him up." And he's like, "All right, whatever. You're the professionals. You know what you're doing."
Yeah.
You just accept everything and let him get on with it, you know.
But if you put a person in a room that's octagon shaped, isn't the floor to the wall 90 degrees still?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too.
They have
wedged on the floor.
Then you come down to actually what you put on the floor, and it's quite easy to put enough of a bevel on it. But it's the walls themselves. It's somehow they've got this way of wedging themselves in.
Well, if it's padded, you get a good wedge in.
Yeah, well, padded's different, but the padded cells, it tends to act as very good insulation, and it tends to be very quiet. And when you're sat in the room, and after a while, all you can hear is your own heartbeat, I can't see how that actually helps people.
Yeah.
It's a very, very disconcerting feeling.
So would these be the euphemistically named forensic psychiatric units? Where forensic really means people that have been banged up for being nutters.
No, well, I'm not really quite sure how you term them. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what label they actually get.
Yeah, because they opened one of those in Yarmouth, and people were fine until it came out that forensic actually meant it was a little unit a bit like Broadmoor.
Yeah. Oh no, these weren't criminal. No, these were, patients under the NHS, but had got major mental problems, shall we say. Some visibly more so than others. Bless their hearts. But yeah, fascinating places, but ooh. Yeah, okay, I'll get out now, please. and I can.
Yes, Judy, this is definitely strange.
This is strange.
It's played, Terry.
So those patients were physically giving themselves a wedgie.
Yes.
Okay. Well, speaking of nutters, we'll see what Simon's got for us. Press play, you said, Matt? Okay, I'll do that for you, Matt.
And travel. Now, I've looked at this before, but it's becoming increasingly more common where someone comes out claiming to be from the future and giving us loads of details of what's going to happen. Now, of course, none of their predictions ever come true, like none of them. So the question is, why are they still being watched and believed? Well, today we have a man from the year 3036 who has some chilling predictions. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a massive thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Blinkist, and discuss the titles. To get a 7-day free trial and then 25% off a Blinkist annual premium, then just click the link in the description. Right, back to today's video, which, as I said at the start, concerns time travel today. Specifically, a man who claims to be from the year 3036. You will not believe some of the tripe he's coming up with. Here we go.
I expected you to be bald, though, because in all the pictures I've seen, you're bald.
Yeah. I didn't have hair when I first got here. You see, people's hair doesn't grow in the future.
Why not?
Radiation. Man-made radiation is so concentrated by the 2080s that people don't grow any hair anymore.
Right, so you're here from the year 3036, but people stopped growing hair in the 2080s because of the concentration of human radiation. And now that you're here in 2022, your hair is apparently growing back.
And he's wearing a mask.
Men and women alike.
So why the mask?
Yeah.
I have to wear it.
And why is that?
My immune system. Everybody in the future has to wear.
Oh, I think he meant to say mask there. And by the way, his immune system is totally shot, but he's playing with a dirty stick with his bare hands. Makes perfect sense. Let's move on to the next part.
The average lifespan by the 2080s is around 40 years old for men and 50 years old for women.
40 years old for men and 50 years old for women. Right. Well, something pretty drastic must have happened because the average human lifespan has done nothing but go up. Now, there are a few exceptions, of course, but on the whole, this is the case.
That's all because of the radiation. It gets better. It takes time. By 3010, things have started to look up. But it'll always be a problem.
The radiation, hey? Oh yeah, this concentrated human radiation. Gotcha.
Probably a problem we'll never fix. It doesn't matter.
The official report is that Sebastian, the man from 3036, could not be identified by any official documents whatsoever.
So you say. Where is this report and who is it done by?
It was verified by officials that his name, or at least the name he's using, has never been in any previous databases.
So Sebastian, whatever his surname is. Yeah, I'm sure it's really hard to come up with a surname to make Sebastian something that's never been in any records before. Really hard.
This guy basically has no records at all. So that's a pretty good trick.
So do you plan on staying here?
No, I can't go back. The technology's not even here yet, even if I wanted to.
Oh, we are so basic here in 2022, aren't we? Just an absolute utter disappointment of a civilization. Just backwards.
I'll say that loosely. The technology is absolutely here. It's just not readily available like it is at my time.
Oh, it is here. Oh, cool. So maybe we aren't that bad.
Perhaps you've heard of the Montauk Project or the Philadelphia Experiment. These are all time travel missions funded by the US military.
Now, as far as I'm aware, the Philadelphia Experiment was centered around invisibility, and the Montauk Project was a fictional creation for the purposes of entertainment.
So is time travel normal in the future? Like, does everybody do it?
Well, no. Everybody knows that it's real and that it's feasible, but it's restricted for military purposes and elite staff only.
So that begs the question, how did you slip through?
Yeah, if a resident or a civilian is caught time traveling, it's prohibited.
That's good.
So is the future like they say it's going to be, like flying cars and robots and all that?
Well, the time police are going to come back in time and arrest him.
We've got flying cars. They're called F-crafts. We've got robots, primarily working off of AI. We don't have homes like you do now. We have what's called pods. Homes were completely done away with by the 3000s. Pods they're like homes, but a lot smaller, airtight, sealed.
Pods, hey? All right, well, doesn't sound that great, but what do I know? I'm just a 21st century idiot.
They don't affix to the ground. They use magnetic technology. So basically, you flip a switch, it locks. You flip off the switch, it unlocks. And this is done for transportation purposes.
So you can move your pod? Oh, that is so cool.
Robots are primarily used for labor positions. AI, which you have already started to implement in your time, but we use on a much larger scale.
The first story I read about you were arrested for stealing food. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was the first day I got here, actually. I wasn't aware of your customs here yet. You see, in the
So where do you
future,
get all the clothes from and everything?
things like fruit, water, some vegetables,
Well, he stole.
they're free in the
stole his
marketplaces.
clothes, stole
We
his
have what's
glasses.
called nourishment centers, where basically you're allowed up to 3 items at no cost.
So civilized. 3 items, hey? Now this story, I'm not sure about you, but to me this story sounds like one big elaborate excuse for shoplifting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And fruit, you never have to pay for. So it's just a simple misunderstanding, really. Oh, and water. I still can't get over the fact that you guys pay for water to be bottled up here.
Well, it is useful for when there are no clean natural water sources, of course, but yeah, now that you mention it, it is a bit weird.
Your time makes history in so many ways. After our interview, I found myself pretty amazed. I'm not saying I'm a believer at this point. I mean, anyone can make up a story, but I have to admit it. It's a pretty good story.
No, it's not. It's total nonsense. Anyone can come up with a story like that.
After a few days went by, I thought of a million more questions I wanted to ask.
A million?
I found myself wanting more information about the supposed future. And more importantly, I wanted to push for more proof. Something that can point to the truth.
Evidence.
I really wanted to know, is this guy from the future, or is it all just a story?
I'll save you the bother, matey. It's total.
It's a story.
Honestly, how anyone can believe this tosh is beyond me. How about we get our guy from 3036, sit him down and ask him who wins the 2022 World Cup, and then watch him fluff his lines as he says England or something. We never win it. Well, we did once, but we won't again. Well, there we go. Another fascinating Tinfoil Tuesday there. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more from time travel, and in more particular, this 3036 guy, because there is more videos. But for now, we're all done and dusted for another Tinfoil Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching. It truly is appreciated. If you enjoyed it today, smash that like button and consider subscribing too. We're on the march to 500,000 now. And of course, if you really enjoyed it, then you can share the video too. Just enough time to once again thank Blinkist for sponsoring today. Remember, for a 7-day free trial and then 25% off an annual premium, just click the link in the description. I have been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great week, and I'll see you all on Friday, where a flat earther doubts a NASA launch. No. See you then.
I've never heard that one before.
I like that one, Alan. I like that.
I'd never heard of that one before.
I thought you would.
And flat earther
Photograph
doubting.
from an RAF fleet. Yeah, a flat earther doubting a rocket launch. I mean, that's a first, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's a first today.
There was something I wanted to say about that bloke. I think that bloke was so dumb that he thinks the year that comes after 2099 is 3000.
Probably.
Yeah,
That's the way
probably.
he was talking.
Dear.
He didn't even have any upcoming technologies in his, in the future you'll have this, and this. He couldn't have. It wasn't
Well,
like
you'd think
he did
he'd
any
be
research
smarter
about
than
it.
that, wouldn't you? If you came back from the future you'd invent something or do something to make yourself some money with the knowledge that you've got, and then you wouldn't have to go around stealing.
Yeah, but even if you're going to make up the story, which obviously you did, you'd think you do a little research and talk about some stuff that might sound like you know,
a bit more convincing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we went to the moon in 2050. Then we were in Mars by X, because I've heard other crap that people live on Mars and all sorts, but there's no sort of, I actually understand how any of that happens. That somebody in
I just found
the future
it
would know.
fascinating that nobody in the future has hair except him.
Except him. Yeah.
So I missed most of that though. Did he honestly say that comes after 2099 was 2300? Is that what he said?
No. I just got the impression that
he would
from the
think
way
that.
he's talking about stuff that happened,
Yeah.
stuff happened in the 2080s, and then he was from 2036. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But there's 900 years between that stuff happening, and
Yeah. See what you mean. Yeah.
And also the misunderstanding that radiation you don't only lose just your hair, you lose any quick growing cells. And so didn't any mention of that. That's why when people go through radiation therapy, yes, they do lose their hair, but they also can lose things like some of their nails may have some trouble, and some of the other skin has issues. There's a whole lot of problems if they were radiation.
Yep.
Around.
And he called them robots. So even his language didn't even have any.
I would suspect that robotics and AI would be so commonplace, you probably wouldn't refer to them as robots by that point anyway.
Yeah.
If you're talking 1,000 years in the future, it's.
Well, even now they call them bots. Well, they call them robots.
Yeah, his language is just not something that even represents anything.
Yeah, and I think the languages evolve, don't they? So I think probably.
Exactly.
So over 1,000 years, I think it probably would have evolved so much that we would probably find it difficult to understand what he's actually saying. So if you look at languages over 1,000 years previous up to this point, you know, and look how far it's actually come along, we'd find it very difficult to understand what they were saying if we went back to the back in history 1,000 years.
Yeah, 1,000 years ago, we'd have trouble understanding someone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, was there even English 1,000 years ago?
I don't know.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
There was
probably.
There was Old English, but you probably wouldn't recognise most of it.
It's probably like a fusion of kind of I don't know, ancient Gaelic and Latin, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. Was it possibly?
Well, mostly Anglo-Saxon, with some Viking thrown in.
Yeah. Whatever language that would have been, I'm not sure what that would have been.
Well, it was the language of Northern Europe, so all across Germany, Denmark. Modern Germany and Denmark, the Low Countries.
Yeah, what language would it have been though? What would have been labelled as?
I don't know. I just know that here it was known as Old English.
Yeah. Okay.
Because back at 800, 900 AD, the language spoken by the Vikings, the Danes that came over here, was mutually intelligible with the language being spoken by the Anglo-Saxons.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. So there must be some connection. There must be some sort of fusion between the two then. So they could understand some of what they were saying.
Well, even going back 100 years, the language is even different when you listen to it.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I think if you went back 100 years, they could understand you probably, and you could understand them, apart from maybe the odd phrase or word here and there. But in the most part, you could understand each other. But yeah, go back even further than that, then it's going to get pretty difficult.
It brings up that what is it? The Declaration of Independence, whatever it is, the Magna Carta and all that stuff. when it was written back then in different English to what it is now, and when we're trying to interpret something that was meant back then.
And also accents would have completely changed as well. I mean, he had obviously clearly an American accent. I doubt it somehow.
Yeah.
The United States may not have even existed. Who knows? We might have a more unified planet at that point, maybe, and accents would have evolved as well, for sure. United Kingdom may not exist. Or a lot of countries may not exist as it is. Might have ended up with two
United
factions.
Kingdom might be a penal colony for all we know.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, yeah. Penal colony of Australia. Reversed fortunes.
Reversed. Yeah, it's reversed.
Trying to remember what
Irish
the UK
invaded.
was. Red Dwarf, that Lister actually get back to Earth, and Earth is one giant rubbish dump.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they dump stuff that particular countries have particular rubbish. And I got a funny feeling the UK was beer bottles or something.
Oh really? Yeah,
yeah. It's a long time since. It's a long time since I've read the novel. But
wouldn't Australia be beer bottles?
Yeah. Oh God.
No, that'd be tinnies.
Tinnies.
Tins.
Yeah, I don't drink out of a tin.
Don't you?
No, Northern Territory does, because they're not allowed to have glass bottles up there.
I must admit, nowadays, if you sit out of a tin, I would put it in a glass. I'd only drink out of a bottle usually.
Yeah. Oh,
it's just a preference. I think beer just tastes better when it's out of a bottle. I think.
Yeah, it does. Definitely does.
Yeah. So I was just going to say that picture was taken 39 years ago yesterday.
Oh really?
When I took my oath to join the Royal Air Force.
Oh yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
9
years yesterday, was it?
So 39 years ago today, I arrived at the prison camp called Royal Air Force Swinderby.
Prison camp.
AKA Swindits.
Swindits. Yeah. Did you say Swindon? Did you say
Swinderby? It's
Swinderby. Okay.
It's one of those villages in the Danelaw, but the Lincolnshire part of the Danelaw. BY means BY is a place where people live in Danish. So any town that ends with BY or village that ends with BY is Viking. But just thought I'd mention it. Kid a long time ago, before I hurt my back, when I could go to bed and it didn't hurt.
It's the sort of injuries that paras get. Usually, it's their knees or their back. Usually,
well, mine was my back mostly because of dropping somebody on it.
Oh, that's me goodbyes put out there.
Oh, you're saying goodbye?
Okay. Yeah, we're winding up. Well, it is getting on to 20 to 2 out here.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Alan. Thanks, Farmer's Boy. Go back to work tomorrow, Farmer.
I say because we're
working now.
You're working
further behind you now. You're working now, are you? Of course
yeah,
you are.
I've got O&M manuals I'm checking through.
Yeah, of course you are.
Thanks, Timbo.
Yeah.
Thanks, George's Louis Lesage. Thanks, Big Blue. Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome.
Who did we have out there? Stewie, Judy, Fred, Elmigs, M-Ball, Head Alert. Nerd Alert, sorry. Head Alert. Where did I get head from?
I believe you.
Bloody boring.
Larry
is, yeah.
DeMarch, Geronurism. I think Clive said he had to go and do something earlier.
Yeah, he had to
when
go.
He first turned up.
Correct student work.
Howard Moore. John Man. Crumpy of Gunt. Judy. Oh, there's Blue Marble Science out there. What's this? I just sit stuff on a table and run around it with a paintbrush when I want to stripe farmers.
Oh, that was me going on about the lathe.
Oh, okay.
I must admit, I was a bit because I came just when you were talking about that, and I was a bit confused about that as well. I must admit.
Armageddon's fire. Oh, we're all confused about Timbo's torture test time.
Yeah.
Jinx you.
Nothing confusing about it at all.
Oh, AT was, oh, that's right. Jared was out there earlier. Who else was left out there? Rimfondle. That's as far as I can get. Larry. That's everybody. Sorry if I missed out on anyone. You always get mentioned twice, Judy. Judy said she gets always mentioned twice. Oh, sorry, that's 4 or 5 times now.
Twice as important as everyone else.
Yes, and Judy, there's a problem with that?
So that's 6 times. Oh, that's Elmix.
No.
Who else got mentioned twice? Did you get mentioned twice, Stewie?
You didn't mention me twice. Feel left out now.
Who?
You didn't mention me twice. I feel left out now.
Ah,
you're on the panel.
Oh
dear.
Can't get good help these days. All right. Good night, panel. Night, Peanuts. We'll see you on Saturday.
Night.
For an easy quiz that's not going to break your brain by Paul.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Either
one of them
there's
can
a
break
Blue
your
Marble
brain.
Science going out there. Me. Don't forget me.
We did mention you 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, you mentioned him once.
Who? Blue Marble
How
Science?
could we forget Blue Marble Science?
Who's Big Blue? Blue Marbles. I've never heard of him. Don't know who he is.
No, Blue Marble Science. It's out in the Peanuts.
Well, he's got himself as Big Blue here, inside here. That's what he's
That might
named
be a
here,
different
here,
person.
but- Oh, right, okay.
Oh dear.
Anyway, good night, panel. Good night, Peanuts.
Night.
Any
Good
words of
night.
wisdom? Anyone got any sayings or quotes or nothing?
No, not today.
Your father is a
Not
hamster and your mother smells of elderberries.
Yeah, well, when you find yourself in a hole, the best thing you can do is stop digging.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah.